us here in Copenhagen, Denmark, as we are getting ready for the first day live here at the International, and we are moments away from getting an opening in style. But before we get there, let me introduce to you the people that will guide you through your morning today. My name is Shiver, I'll be your host, and I am joined by three wonderful people. To my left, Lacoste, how are you doing?
Super excited though. I'll tell you what, I didn't get much sleep, 3.5, 4 hours. This is Christmas time pretty much for Dota community, and always happy to be a part of it.
I think we're all in the same boat here, Effie.
Exactly the same, barely slept. I just was so excited coming into today and just seeing the live audience, seeing everybody be here, so excited to watch Dota. It's just such a community feeling, and yeah, here we are, T. It's just been the culmination of the entire year.
I mean, best event of the year, arena already, we've got the cheers going, so please continue that throughout the game, just cheer for anything. If someone dies, you cheer. If they get a Roshan, you cheer. Just be loud and, again, just best time of the year.
I already feel the energy that the people are bringing. There's two people that always bring the energy as well, and they were checking in with what was happening earlier today.
Hello, future Shiver! It is us, Past Slacks and Tsunami. Welcome, my friends, to the International 13. Tsunami, so good to be here with you yet again.
I can't believe it. It's become a yearly tradition now, except this time we have migrated all the way across the Atlantic here in Europe to finally celebrate a first real European crowd TI, because it was all like the power nerds at TI1 in Cologne.
The power nerds, you say?
I mean, who knew about Dota back then?
The true ancients.
And we have to defend them. But here we are to celebrate the European crowd showing up here in Copenhagen.
Now, I know that this is airing later. We are at 8 a.m., all right? Look at this line at 8 a.m. These guys are sickos. Hello, everybody. How we doing?
Everybody.
Yeah!
You ready for some Dota?
Yeah, baby. All right, let's go ahead and talk to some of these early risers here. Probably earlier than most of these gamers have ever been awake. Hello, sir. May I talk to you? Hello.
Howdy.
Pangolier shirt. Howdy.
Oh, yeah,
where are you from?
I'm from the US of A in Florida.
Yeah, one of my people. Welcome, my friend. What brings you all the way out here?
Oh, I'm here to see the best Dota in town. That's what I'm here for.
Hell yeah. Who are you rooting for, bud?
Well, I was rooting for Noun, so they were able to beat the champions last year, but they weren't able to beat the runners-up. So.
That's right. We still got some NA, Snake's still around. You rooting for them now?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm all in on Falcons.
Okay. Well, good luck at that elimination series this morning. Might be the last time you ever see them. Thank you very much. Anybody else we want to talk to? Anybody want to talk? Hello, morning people? Who looks the tiredest? What?
Yeah, look, we're wearing the same outfit.
Oh, we are. Got a T-Swift fan.
Yeah. I couldn't find my Team Liquid T-shirt, so I just put on a Team Swift T-shirt.
Yeah, that's close. Can you sing us some T-Swift songs?
I can sing my favorite song.
Go ahead.
'Cause August slipped away. My name is August.
Oh, well, thank you, August, so much. Who are you hoping wins?
Team Liquid.
Team Liquid. All right, that got you out of bed this morning, huh?
Yeah, I tried at least.
Okay, well, you're looking great.
Thank you.
Tsunami, where are you? Go find a tired person. Find the most tired person in the crowd. Thank you.
I want someone sleep deprived, and I want someone who this is their very first TI. Oh, you're chugging a coffee right now. You're feeling refreshed. Have you been to an international before?
Never.
First time. Where do you hail from, my friend?
Manchester, UK.
Did you go to any Birmingham events?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was at Birmingham every single year.
Really? Okay, so you're a Dota player through and through. What's your expectations for this event? Who are you rooting for?
Falcons. Yeah, it gotta be Falcons. ATF, man.
You already saw them won in Birmingham. Stop being so greedy, man. Give someone else a chance.
They always win. They're just great.
I can see that. You're a bandwagoner, it's okay.
Yeah.
I respect the hustle. Who else out here has never been to a TI before? Let me go further down the list. Jake, find one of these newcomers. Oh, this is your brethren.
He did not like me rubbing my bald head against his. I did it without permission. I'm so sorry. You ready for your first TI?
Yeah, very ready, yeah.
What are you expecting in there?
I don't know. Tundra to win, let's go.
Oh, we got a new one.
Now, are you going to try to sit close? Because at TI, we have a splash zone. The players like to come out, they like to scream, let's go! And you get to be showered in their, liquids. Is that where you're going to be, in the front, or are you going to be chilling in the back?
I think I'll keep my distance from
Okay, that's a good idea.
gamer juices.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. All right, well, I hope you have a fantastic first TI. Good luck to Tundra to you. Now can I touch your...
Any ball enjoyers? Team ball?
Team ball. Let's go. This is a sponsored segment. I had no idea. You owe me a check, Gork. Pay it up. Thank you very much. I think we have annoyed these poor sleepy people for quite some time. Let's go ahead and close it out. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, so happy to be here yet again at another TI. TI 13 is about to get underway, and we will throw it to Shiver in the far future. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Paslax and Tsunami. It is fantastic to see so many people showing up so early, getting ready to get the best seats in the house. And I must say that this international, the first one with a crowd in Europe since the first iteration, Lacoste, it feels very good.
Oh yeah, we go way back to Cologne, 2011. I was there 10,000 years ago. It was, a privilege, and it still is to this day, to be a part of this big show. We've seen some crazy games so far, and the TI is always about, the pressure, the big games, the emotions from the players as well. This is what we want to see on the main stage.
Yeah, and I think we saw that pressure come to life also during the road to TI we've already had, T-Gov.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some regions fall short. I think, European TI, luckily there's a lot of European teams still in. So as you see from the crowd, there's a lot of, fan favorites still available, which means, loud crowd, good.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I feel like every time I say loud crowd, there better be one guy who just screams for me. Otherwise it's kind of awkward. So thank you, that one guy, thank you very much.
I believe in him. I believe in that one guy. But just seeing regional representation is wonderful, but regional representation from fans too. Like having a live crowd finally be in Europe is something that I've been looking forward to so much. And even then, we saw in the cold opener as Lex, there are people coming in from North America. I'm sure we have fans from SEA. I'm sure we have fans from South America. So it's just such an exciting time for everybody here.
It really, really is. And it has already been an exciting time as well in terms of the Dota 2. Now, I know that not everybody has the luxury to watch Dota 24/7 all day round for 2 weeks straight, and that is why we have got you covered with the best moments of the road to TI.
Where's the answer? They do not have it right now. An indomitable force of extreme gaming. They take another one here. Nikki does manage to jump away just before the jump in from GPK. One in, one out, turns around, Sonic Wave, trying to finish up 43. It's not going to be enough. They just got wiped.
Back on the ring, X about leading back in, and in the X, no one sweeps him up with a tidal wave.
Is so insane. Where is the Crit? But they get stunned. The bash was there right at the moment. Crit coming in, trying to take him down.
Kind of surviving, guys. I'm kind of surviving. Holy shit. Yeah. Fucking Nisha show, boys.
No, he misses the bro strike. The Hex is out. Do they have enough to burst the Phoenix in time? Yes, they will. Backdoor protection! It's through backdoor protection! A little more damage is all they need! They just need a bit more! Oh! It's kicked onto the cliff! Finally brought down by the cookie!
The Terrorblades out! GG has been called. It's the end of the road here for Team Spirit.
Way over a week ago, we started with 16 teams here in Copenhagen, and today there are only 8 left. Now we're going to do our best to get you up to speed with everything that has happened over the last over a week, last 8 days, I want to say. And get you up to speed with everything you should know before going into today. I know there's a timer ticking down, and it's not making me nervous at all, promise. T-Gov, I'm taking you back to just over a week ago, group stages. I know it's been a little while, but it was when there were so many games going on at the same time, and it all led to knowing who was going to play who for seeding matches.
Yeah, and to think that Spirit, they finished their group 6-0, 3 wins, not dropping a single game, and then you fast forward to now, they're eliminated. They're out of TI. They kind of didn't make it to here. So yeah, it's quite a struggle there. But we had so many games, so many different teams, unfortunately already dropping out at this point. But this is where it begins. This is now where only one team can actually lift the Aegis.
Only one team can lift the Aegis. We're lucky that there are 2 teams of every group, Effie, that is still in today.
Yeah, and these teams are hungry, but I will say that the seeding matches did bring a little bit of extra spice that we needed, but ultimately only the 8 best teams remain. There are a lot of repeat potential TI champions, there are newcomers, there are people fighting for regional representation. There's so many storylines going on right now, Shiver. It's hard to keep track, but that's why we're here.
It is hard to keep track, but it will be easy. That's why we are here. You're going to watch the Dota, and then you're going to hear everything that you're supposed to know. And even if you miss a beat, we'll get you covered. No worries, no stress. We are going to have a lot of Dota, though. And I'm saying that because so you can prepare for the time that you're going to be spent watching the action lacrosse, because we've got 4 series, not just today, but tomorrow as well.
Oh, these are going to be the spicy series. BB team against Falcons, the first one. Can BB team take on Falcons? They haven't been able to beat them throughout the whole year. That's going to be a big one. How they're going to be performing on the big stage. And Team Falcons, the best team of 2024. Then we have Aurora against Extreme Gaming, the giants, like the Chinese. They managed to be here, the only remaining team. Same goes for Aurora, representing their region, but they didn't look as good as Extreme Gaming.
No, and we're going to have the upper brackets as well, Effie.
Yep, of course, we've got Team Liquid, the Giants of Europe, probably a huge fan favorite here, going up against C9, who have emerged as potential podium finishers. I mean, this team has worked so hard all year, and they finally peaked right about when they needed to. Then we've got Tundra versus GG. This is going to be incredibly good. These are 2 very fast-paced, very action-oriented teams. And of course, we've got to say, Thompson, potential 3-time winners, so that's exciting.
That is exciting, Tigo.
I was about to say that, don't worry. Of course it is, because if you win 3 TIs, not by yourself, but to be the only player to do it, do you really make your stamp as the Dota player of all time? Are other people really going to be able to argue with that? And Thompson's not thinking about it, but I think most people in the community are going, maybe it is. All he needs is 1 more TI. That's it, just 1 more.
1 more, and he will be head and shoulders above any other Dota 2 player out there. It would be a tremendous feat if he manages to do that with Team Tundra this time around. Now, he is not the only one that is hoping for to be a repeat champion, Lacoste.
Yeah, we do have some 2-timers. Only 3 of them are left. So that's going to be, the pool is getting smaller.
5 of them.
5 of them, never mind.
3 in the lower, 2
3
in the
lower.
Upper, yeah.
The others are in the upper bracket. So we have Skeeter, we have Snaking, Toronto, Tokyo, 33, and Saxa. Saxa as a stand-in as well, coming in, managing maybe to get that another TI. Teams are looking hot, but all eyes on Falcons for me.
All eyes on Falcons in that lower bracket, and we already know one of those 2-time hopefuls will be eliminated. And we also know that there's at the very opening panel of the group stages, if you were tuning in, you will know that there was a long list of 22 first-timers, T-Gov. 22! That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, a lot of pressure, and unfortunately the pressure got to some of them because there's not, 22 still here. We only have, I believe, 3 of them. And, XM, shining star on his sniper just popping off in a series earlier this week, and then Maureen, quite a fan favorite of the year. He won some multiple awards for how, show-stopping he is. And Loranov, Ukrainian talent, and again, bringing the SEA team from quite a middling team to, the highest point. So, again, incredible stuff. And only 3 left for first-timers.
That's so wild, though, just from 22 first-timers to only 3. It's such an interesting contrast from last year when it felt like the first-timers were bringing in all of this new excitement and new ideas into Dota, and they were doing better. But this year, it feels like the veterans have just overcome every single first-timer, and it's such a contrast from last year. And that's just because as the years progress, when you're in these high-pressure situations, when you're playing for a potential Aegis, that's when you need people who are composed, people who've been here before, people who've got that experience, and it's really shown, Cheever.
I mean, the older you are, the better Dota you get. So if you're in your mid-30s right now, guys, you can still do it. Still do it.
I wish that was the thing.
No, it's exactly how it works. Don't worry, experience beats everything else in Dota.
That's why you're sitting at the panel?
I'm only 27, Shiva.
Oh, you still
I've got some more time in me, don't worry.
Oh, I go way back. I'm one of the oldest guys in the scene. I've been playing Dota now for 20 years. Dota 1 plus Dota 2 combined, and I gotta disagree with that one. Not getting any better. No, the hero pool for myself is also getting smaller, so...
I think actually the most, the thing about the first timers that I think is most interesting is that all three of them are mid laners. Right? Because there was a period where the recipe to have a top-tier Dota 2 team was having... I was right after TI5, because it was when Sumail won TI, and it was like, get yourself a young kid that just, lives with no fear and just goes in on and on again, and then surround him with veterans. It seems that maybe Lacoste, that is still a thing.
It definitely is, and Malrine being one of them, something that Skeeter did talk about in one of his interviews during the Dream Leagues. He did say, they needed that extra oomph. It's like his younger cousin. They're having so much fun playing Dota, and at the end of the day, what Dota is all about.
That is what Dota is all about, and something to note about these young mid laners is that they've come in these teams as hero specialists. Whereas before, you felt like the mid laners kind of had a really general hero pool. You had your spirit players, your invoker players and whatnot, but mostly everyone was dabbling in everything. But this entire year has been, bring the Malrians who spam like 5 heroes, have them Grandmaster tier. Bring the XMs who plays Viper and Sniper. I mean, what kind of hero pool is Viper and Sniper? But it's been working out for him. And same goes to Lorinoff, So moving away from this generalistic approach to laning to the more individualized, hero-specific oriented has really worked in this meta.
It also helps because the younger players that we have right now, they just farm pubs like no tomorrow. They're playing 50, 60, 70 games a week, and you compare that to old times, maybe you get 20, 30 games, and it's they're not really developing as quickly. I think nowadays it's so scary that if something's good, it takes a day for everyone else to understand it. There is no time to hide strats. You play it, it's going to be public. Everyone's going to be aware, so you have to keep up, and that's why, these talent it's so hard to even get close to them.
It also inspires, right? Because I remember right after Falcons was formed, we asked at some point Crit, okay, how does Malrine having all these level 30 Dota Plus heroes, impact your gameplay? And he's like, I got to catch up. You got something to play for, because also if Amara says you can't play it if your Dota Plus level is not high enough, you gotta put in the time, you gotta put in the work, and there are 2 people that are here that have put in the work that are from Denmark. We have 2 hometown champions still in the running to have a chance to lift the Aegis here. And I just want to say how unique it is, Tigo, to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, when you go back throughout internationals, right, you had EG when they won it in North America, but then since then it's always been a team out of the region winning the international held in a different country. So to have actual hometown heroes doesn't happen too often, at least with the chance of winning. And both of those teams, you look at them, it's there is a good chance that they can do it.
And Crit, he spent 7 years in North America. They've been holding him hostage. Now the man is finally free, and we see the success that he is bringing, especially today in his own country.
Yeah, this is going to be Crit's 8th TI, I believe, and he's only ever played TI6 representing Europe. So he played 6 TIs representing North America, and now he's coming into his 8th TI, not only representing the European region, but playing in his hometown. And like T mentioned, his team is a runner to take it all. This really could be a TI where we see a hometown hero actually claim the Aegis.
Yeah, it has happened, what was it, 1 time, you said, T, 1 time in history. We'll see if Crit or Ace is able to take it. We must not forget that CY, coach of Gaming Gladiators, is also Danish, so he can also take it home. And I don't know if it counts, but obviously Synderen is here too somewhere, Lacoste, and he's a hometown champion in a way.
Yeah, most definitely. Synderen, he has great history in Dota, mostly as a talent, as a player, not as much, but we gotta give him the respect. And also, he didn't talk about the Copenhagen being such a nice city. He didn't, because I was wondering why he's always so happy, because everything here is nice. The food, the weather, the people, everything's super organized.
I think we got lucky with the weather, no offense. I think Denmark is pretty close to the Netherlands in that it is often gray and rainy, which I love, so that's no shade or anything like that. Or is that something you enjoy as well?
No, because I came from like 35, 40 degrees Celsius, so it was way too hot. Now I'm really enjoying it here.
Yeah, I think everybody's really enjoying it here. We're really enjoying it here, and we are getting ready to enjoy it even more as the clock keeps ticking. I would like to highlight some of the teams that are still in, that are considered favorites, because we kind of glanced over it earlier, but Effie, we did lose our defending champions.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit torn up about that. It always hurts to see the defending champion not be able to defend the title, but ultimately it is make or break when you're playing the road to TI. And you're either the best or you're not. So unfortunately, Spirit didn't cut it, but there's so many exciting storylines that are coming into play here. And all of the 8 teams, I can say with full confidence that all of them could take a game off of each other. And a lot of these series are going to be hard to decide who the victor is too.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Liquid, who are still yet to claim their Tier 1 tournament victory. If it's an international, that's pretty big. Cloud9, ex-Entity, 2-3 years ago, they were quite dominant. They've kind of fallen into the shadows recently. So it's like there's so many different options. And we've already talked about Tundra, gaming local team. Like every single team has like quite a hook to, if they win it, it's really cool.
It is going to be very spicy who ends up taking that Aegis at the end of the day. And I do want to focus a little bit more about our 4 upper bracket teams, because there is a team there, Tundra, and we already highlighted them because Thompson's playing for Tundra, which is fantastic. But I think it's incredibly unique to see in this upper bracket, first of all, Lacoste, 4 Western European teams, but second of all, a team with a stand-in is very unusual.
It is, but Saxa, he has quite a lot of experience. He did play for the same organization, so I would say we're not able to pick up a better stand-in, because he is fitting it like a glove, even though, unfortunately, the player was not here. 9 class, great player, but they're doing really well, and that also shows the strength of Saxa as a player. Team Liquid against Cloud9, another interesting one. I think C9, the big underdog story, I would say Nouns, if they maybe made it further into the tournament, eliminating TI defending champions, that would be great, but they also caused some big upsets.
Yeah, they have a chance for some great upsets. We're about 2 minutes out, so I would love to hear some final thoughts from my panel before we head into the day. T-Gov, I know there's a lot of Dota ahead of us, not just today, but for the whole weekend. What is something that you really wish to get out of this weekend, other than a champion, of course?
Okay, it might be controversial because we are in Europe, but I want Europe versus non-Europe team final.
Ooh, that's going to be really difficult with the bracket we have.
I know, it's like 4 teams, it's like pretty hard, 5 teams technically, but I would love to see like the clash of titans from like one side of the world against the other, because like that's when it creates like the hottest moments in history. I think, yes, EU versus EU still be very good, but there's part of me, like Extreme versus anyone, that sounds pretty spicy for the finals.
Yeah, I just want the champion to emerge from the lower bracket. I'm not a fan of upper bracket runs. They're just so boring in comparison. I like when teams, they go through the ringer, they suffer, they go on their training arc. So personally, I would love to see the progression of the team, being from kick to lower bracket to getting better with every series to ultimately making it to grand finals. That's my hope for this TI.
Yeah, lower bracket runs are always amazing. If you're going all the way through the lower bracket, you need to win. That's the BB team is the only team that could pull it off. You need to win 6 BO3s.
That has never happened before, right?
I don't think so. 6 BO3 and a BO5. So quite a lot of games ahead of them if they want to lift that Aegis.
Well, I will say that, was it 2 internationals ago that we had Team Liquid playing the most amount of game all the way from the from the last chance qualifier to come really close in Team Secret as well. So maybe more games is a good thing, and perhaps that will be a story that we'll be able to tell at the end of it all. But it's a whole 3 days filled with Dota 2 ahead of us before we will find out who we'll have in the grand finals, who will make a deep run in that lower bracket, and will we have a first-time all lower bracket team making it A, to the finals, B, taking that grand finals. It all begins right here in the Royal Arena in just a couple of seconds. So ladies and gentlemen, and everybody here in the Royal Arena, please make some noise as we'll open it in style.
Welcome to the International. And now, introducing the finest Dota teams in the world. BBT! FALCON!
Hi, I'm Gabe Newell. 13 years ago, I had a front row seat to watch the very first champions of Dota 2 earn their place on the Aegis in a convention hall not too far from tonight's arena. From that hall to a concert hall in Seattle to arenas around the world, the crowds may have grown bigger, the players and teams may have changed, but one thing hasn't: the joy we all take in watching the best players in the world play Dota 2. So to all of you there in the arena, to the millions around the world who are watching, I say welcome. Welcome to the Royal Arena in Copenhagen. Welcome to Europe, back where it all began. Welcome to the greatest esports event in the world. Welcome to the International.
Woo! Goosebumps here as we're getting ready to get the games started live on our amazing looking stage. It is an honor to be here with all of you and all of you here as well, as we are focusing on our first series of the day with BB Team taking on Falcons T-Gov. This is gonna be a spicy one.
Yeah, you've got Falcons who have pretty much, since its inception, won it all, versus a team that, on paper, when they formed, you expected them to be one of the best teams in the world, yet they've yet to win it. They've always been, a second team, a third place team, maybe even a last place team. It's been such a volatile run for such a high MMR stack that, yeah, it feels like a David vs. Goliath, but it shouldn't be on paper.
To put it into context, BB Team, their 3 core players are all top 10 in the MMR leaderboards of Europe, which is the most competitive leaderboard. And with that being said, you expect these players to, on paper, kind of crush everyone they face, but that's not the case. BB Team, they're known to kind of crumble under pressure. That's always been something that's associated with them, but when they do get it together, they play some really dominant Dota.
They do, and they do play really dominant Dota, Lacoste, but not against Team Falcons.
Yeah, this is just a really bad matchup for them. They only have 5 dubs in terms of games, and they were unable to win a series in 2024 against Team Falcons, which says a lot about the team, their play style. They need to change something here. This is the biggest event, and they should be able to at least take a game, but I want to see the preparation. As the FE said, this is the team that sometimes does crumble under pressure, especially because they've been consistently placing top 3, getting multiple, I think they got 2 grand finals as well in this year. Against Falcons, but they were unable to get that, final finish. They were unable to lift any trophies whatsoever.
Yeah, is this just a playstyle clash, we think, Effie?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a playstyle clash, because when you look at, Team Falcons, they're kind of seen as the perfect team when it comes to taking every box. They're strong in lanes, they're strong in drafts, they're strong in map play, they're strong at team fighting. They don't really lack for much, whereas BB Team, they're incredibly strong in lanes, so their first 10 minutes against any team does not crumble. What happens to BB Team is that it feels like when they play in higher pressure tournaments, they just don't make the same calls that they would under different stakes. They're not making the same movements that you would expect out of them. And because of that, they tend to get run over by teams that have more confident map and play. That could be different today, though. We'll have to see.
It feels like they often get, they assume the win's already there. Like, against teams that are weaker than them, 25 minutes into the game, another team, they'd be closing out. But they're like, oh, we've already won this game. There's we're on autopilot, yet they kind of do fall flat a little bit.
And the difference between the carries, the farm, the network distribution is a big one for me. Saika, aka Nightfall, takes the most by far of any carry player, and also Skeeter the lowest. But Skeeter tends to be much more active early on, where Nightfall, he tends to farm a little bit more, and then he tends to join the fights. These are also 2 players who are in the top 5 when it comes down to KDA, when it comes down to average kills. Actually, 4 players that are going to be playing here are top 4. We have Malrine, Skeeter, Saika, and GPK, so really expecting a high action-packed game.
I mean, the clash of styles is the fact like Skidder, he likes to join the fight, whilst Amar then kind of fills into the carry role, off-lane carry role, whilst on the other side, like BB, they're a bit more of a traditional team, like the off-laner, he buys like the aura, wants to make the plays, Nightfall or Psycho behind that will be farming, so there is a difference in play, and I think if BB isn't ready for Falcons just swarming the map early on, trying to be greedier against the high-paced teams, they struggle. They struggle against Liquid, they struggle against Falcons, like they need today to respect the fact that the current meta is to be quick on the map, to make the big moves, and if you try to play for a 45-plus minute game, you're probably not going to make it much further in the tournament.
And I like what you mentioned about the offlaner Miro on BB Team being a bit more traditional in how he itemizes, how he plays, and of course you've got ATF on the other side who can fit that conventional role in terms of buying auras, but he can also step up to that core role if needed. And you see that with the unique heroes that each of them had. Like you saw the Beastmaster, one of Miro's specialties, whereas you have the Razor on the side of ATF. But the top 3 offlane heroes, both of them have been playing it. The styles have been similar this tournament because the meta dictated it, but it's different when you're in a lower bracket, best of 3. The meta does not apply as much as you would think it would.
And the ATF, you know, a guy that loves to clown a lot in the games, he is the one who gave a lot of respect to Miro, talking about him in the Road to the International interview, that he is one of the best offlaners in the world for a good reason. I love to see the mutual respect between these two.
And I bumped into him to the lift the other day, and I've already spoke about what's his tactics to get into the head, because obviously he likes to ping facets, he likes to do things all chat, and he leaked some strats he's got it prepared. But just to, like he's already just too aware. Like he might be quiet earlier on, but he's going to level it up for TI. So if you are a fan of Amar and that stuff, then he's got it ready. So hopefully he uses it right now, straight away. First series, don't hold it. You know, you might be getting eliminated. I need you to use everything you have in your tank, Amar.
They've got a bit of different personalities on the offlaners too, because every time you see Miro in interviews or the way that he talks about his team, or even how other players talk about him when they play pubs with him, everybody loves to play with Miro. They say he's so polite, he's makes good calls, he gets along with everybody, whereas Amar, he likes to get under people's nerves. He plays Dota with this idea that he doesn't just want to win, he wants to frustrate the enemies, he wants to upset them, and while they are different in personalities, I think that kind of play also, or that kind of clash kind of leaks into their playstyle too. I mean, you see Amar like being anti-carry. He wants to make his opponents miserable.
It's why the Extreme and Spirit series is actually so refreshing, because we didn't have any of it. We had no like pinging, nothing, no all chat. It was just like a calm, like old school, like a gentleman's game of Dota. But with Falcons, there's no gentleman. It's just anything you can do to try and get the win, they're going to be doing it through all chat or anything.
And they're going to be muted each other, surely.
Probably, but when I was doing research, BB Team, they were always the best team when it comes down to the amount of pings they have on the map. This time around, it is Aurora Jabs who kind of took over that.
Get back, please. Yeah.
Gotta click harder for BB in this one.
Gotta click harder. I think also both teams are very well accustomed to going up against each other and therefore to dealing with potential tipping, old chat, anything of the sorts. And while we're getting ready to get the players on the stage, I want to just straight up hear from my panel. They've never done it before. BB Team's never taken a series off of Falcons. They have, however, the most experience playing against them. So if they're going to put all that experience into practice, T, are they doing it?
Do you want me to hype you up? Because if
I want to have
my analyst hat is on, and no, I don't think they can do it. I think it might get to 3 games, because when they have drawn in best of 2s, BB wins the second game. Okay. So they know how to adapt when it gets difficult. But based on the year, it's like it feels like an 80-20 to Falcons. Like it feels like they should just walk into this, the way that they've played so far, the speed that they break their opponents, the fact that just, yeah, I would be surprised if BB win it. But then I'm happy to be here and be shocked after game 2 or 3.
Well, we're gonna find out if we'll be shocked, or if we're at least gonna have I know we're gonna have an entertaining series, guys. I have no doubt about that. But to do so, we first need the teams on stage.
Stage. BB Team.
We have Saika, GPK, Miero, Save, Toronto, Tokyo, and Coach Bulk taking the stage. They are in this lower bracket, knocking out Talon, knocking out and eliminating Nouns, and they are looking to do the same against their fierce opponents, Falcons.
Welcome on stage, Falcons.
We got Skeeter, Mallory, Amar, Crit, Snaking, and AY 2000. This is considered to be the best team of 2024, but they have to yet prove it that they can do it here too, on stage at the International. Will they continue their lower bracket run? We'll find out. One best of 3. BB team, Team Falcons. It will be a spicy one, even if just for potential tippings and potential old chats, Lacoste. But there's one thing that we must not forget, is that on the side of Falcons, we saw it earlier, it is one of these 10 players' first time here at this grand stage. Do you think Malrine will be able to continue his same level of play?
He did have a little bit of a performance issue when he was playing his first LAN, but after that, the man is really feeling himself. He feels like a veteran rather than a newcomer into the scene, and he adapted. Because if you look at his player history, he didn't play for many teams when it comes down to Tier 1 Dota. The creep wave, and then the man was suddenly bumped into a Tier 1 team immediately and had a great success with them.
Yeah, you also have to realize that he's playing with a team that he draws confidence from as well. Like ATF, who's the same age as him, he's been around for longer, and they have a friendly rivalry going on between each other where they compete for MMR, they compete for better KDA within the game, and having someone like that by your side, you'll never actually feel nervous. And then that's just ATF, right? But you have to look at the veterans on the team in Snaking, Skitter, and Crit. When you play with them, they're going to be able to reassure you in situations like this.
I mean, also, it's like for Mallory to have his first TI, but then when you think back, like he's been part of what? He's won 4 Tier 1 events, Grand Final 5 times. It's like his journey to be at his first TI isn't the true underdog story where he made it through the qualifiers and, we're shocked to see him here, right? Like he's won it all in like his first major year being a pro player. So I think nerves shouldn't be a question. Like Heffy's mentioned, he's surrounded by so much experience, so much of the veterans of the scene that he can just do his job. And if things get difficult, he can lean on the experience of his team to help fix any problems that they might face.
Yeah, and of course, Team Falcons playing with 2 TI champions in Skeeter and Snaking, and a double TI champion coach in AUI 2000. So the vast amount of experience in that squad is very intense. Also, Malrine and ATF, as mentioned, both of them 19, one of the youngest players here at the International, although Malrine will turn 20 in just a couple of days. So he'll leave his teens, as you say. On the other side, we got ourselves BB team, and even though all of these players are experienced on this main stage, perhaps, Tigov, the nerves will be a factor for them.
Yeah, I think it's just difficult for BB. The fact that they've been together as a roster for so long, since last TI when they made the swap with Miro coming into the offlane. They've been so close, and they've been on the main stage, they've been against the top teams, they've been in grand finals, yet they're yet to make it. So I hope for their sake they've kind of been able to overcome the thought of what will it be this time. Like if they have any doubt, that's when they have the struggles, and unfortunately they have choked a couple times before. And if they can get all those problems aside, they are a team who is destined to be in multiple grand finals.
I mean, the sad thing when you think about BB team is that internally none of them are happy with the results because they know that they're capable of so much more. And the word around the block is they don't really lose in scrims. Like if you ask around, they play incredibly dominantly and they have better performance in scrims than they do at LAN. So when you hear something like that and they're stomping all of the Tier 1 teams in the world when they're practicing, but when they can't quite apply the same kind of dominance at a tournament, that means internally, somewhere at some point of the game, that same calls that are usually being made aren't being made. And the only thing that you can really attribute to that is pressure, players not understanding, not necessarily understanding, but not wanting to take any risks. When I look at BB Team, I mean, we've all heard the meme about Psycho or Nightfall with the BKB TP out. It's funny, but it does apply to their play a lot. A lot of their play, not just the carry, can be summarized as BKB TP. Can we take the smoke and win it? What are the odds? 30% chance we'll lose this fight, or 70% chance we'll win? Maybe we don't want those odds. Maybe we want the 90% odds. And that, you can't have that kind of philosophy if you're going up against Falcons.
You definitely need to take risks when you're playing on the big stage. So I want to see, some more taken from BB Team, because they looked pretty good. Like first 15, 20 minutes of the game, it's pretty much always stellar. One thing they always struggled with was pushing the high ground. Like we've seen so many times. Game 2 against Talon in Road to TI, if you go way back during the Elite League, I casted more, I think 5 or 6 games. Every single time what happens is they have 20k gold lead, they can't finish off the game. So this is something they need to work on.
And you can see from the heroes picked against Falcons, BB, they try to shift their playstyle to try and match the aggression that Falcons bring. But again, based on the stat set, it hasn't worked. And we heard as well in an interview with Save when they won earlier in the Road to International, when he's having a good game, he feels like his team plays a lot better. When he's having a difficult game, he can feel that the win isn't as easy to secure. So I feel like maybe Save is more of the conductor for the team, and that is something that against aggressive teams, when he gets shut down, it can be difficult. And yeah,
Hello Kitty is back.
He's got the outfit on. He's ready.
Sometimes that's all you need. Good luck charm, and you're ready to go. That is maybe something that BB Team can incorporate in their play. I do want to talk a little bit more about the heroes both teams are using as we are close to getting the draft underway. What are some of the heroes that FE people at home should look out for? Which are some of the ones that you are going to pay attention to?
So the big one that both of these teams share is Doom, as we saw in the graphic that was pulled up earlier. Falcons have had pretty similar openers compared to BB Team, who have drafted a lot of different things. But typically when you look at Falcons, they're going for that Tusk first pick or that Doom first pick. And Doom is a highly contested hero for every team this tournament. BB Team is no exception. Nero tries to get it as much as he can as well. So it's going to be a matter for me, this draft, are BB Team prepared to steal the Tusk? Because they actually haven't opened with Tusk at all.
Yeah, Toronto Tokyo so far has played 12 different Position 5 heroes out of 14 games. And if coming into this series, you have to respect Tusk, you have to respect Drinking Buddies. I'm sure there's a lot of Drinking Buddies in the arena right now, but anyways. And yeah, I feel like you have to... Yes. I was just making sure I got one little crouch here again for that one. No, I think, yeah, you have to respect the Tusk on that one, because he is the Position 5 of the tournament. It is nice to say when you come into a TI that Position 5 is potentially the biggest hero pool that you're respecting at the moment. Of course, there's Lunas and Miranas and Monkey Kings, but like the Tusk and the Tree, they are so prevalent at the moment. And there are so many spots on the Aegis for more teams.
I know that last year's, everybody was wondering what is going to happen when the ring fills up. We don't know what's going to happen. What about, you see that Team Spirit last year got put in a new ring.
There's like 7 more spots.
There's 7 new spots
We did
created.
Count 7 more spots.
TI
7 more
20
TIs.
Very cool. And yeah, Team Spirit has said no longer here to defend their titles. Means we're going to get a fresh champion, a fresh team champion potentially, as well as the final touches are being put in the booth to make sure all 10 players are confident and comfortable when heading into that draft. And we talked about the support duo hero, and I'm now curious, Effie, you mentioned earlier that the core of BB Team is the top in the world because they're all top 10 MMR. But we also know that right now, as we mentioned, Tusk is one of the supporters of the tournament, and they play such a pivotal role. What's the difference between the two support duos?
Oh, that's a good question. So for Falcons, I feel like their support duos are kind of generalists. Right? You don't necessarily think of particular playstyles. Like they have Crit, who used to be, very heavily focused on roaming. He shifted to being very heavily focused on winning lane, but now he just does a mix of both. They will either collapse on the mid lane early if they're Falcons, or they'll try to kick the enemy carry out of their safe lane by actually bringing in their carry through the twin gate. But often the supports are focused on shutting down the enemy safe lane, which could be why it's such a bad matchup for BB Team versus Falcons here. Whereas you look at BB Team, I look at Save, that's just a lane dominator. Look at Toronto Tokyo, plays lane dominating heroes. The BB Team supports are much more heavily emphasized on winning lane for as long as they can, instead of rotating through twin gates.
it also feels like for Falcons, they have that moment where if the lanes go well, the two support picks don't feel uncomfortable moving around the map together. Other teams, they often have this disjoint between 4 and 5, where it's like, am I really going to gank the map with like a Winter Wyvern? And again, Oracle's not been picked in tandem, but that type of thing is like two defensive heroes aren't going to make moves. So here it's like every single time you see like the Tusk, and then there's a Snapfire, or there's a Oracle, and there's a Rubik. Like, you know there's smoke potential always with Falcons. And sometimes that doesn't really happen with BB.
Yeah, one X factor that they do have on side of BB is wide hero pool. You did mention Toronto Tokyo. He has the biggest hero pool from position 5, but GPK and Saika, they're also playing a lot of different heroes compared to Team Falcons, who have been the most studied team throughout the year, winning everything. You are the ones who are, getting your heroes nerfed. You are the reason why the heroes are nerfed in general. And then also at the road to TI, this is the team that did play most games, so there's the most information on the team, so it's going to be studied for sure.
Yeah, do you feel like maybe that's the reason why they're in the lower bracket? I think a lot of people before the road to the international even began had Falcons as one of the top 5 teams, top 4 teams at this event, maybe even a team that will definitely be featured in the grand finals. To see them here in this lower bracket.
Possibly, but also this is the team that at Riyadh Masters they had a terrible start at the group stage. 0-4 group stage at the road to TI wasn't also as cleanest, and team is not as dominant as some people would expect them to be, considering their results in 2024.
And also, you got to give it to Tundra as well in the upper bracket series. They showcased the first Night Stalker, or at least in the upper bracket, so the Night Stalker showed up. Ramses just popped off, and then in game 2 it was like a 67-minute game, very close. So yes, Falcons in the lower bracket, but it's because of like the excellence of Tundra showing up in that series. Like in another world, Tundra, Falcons, sorry, if they were ready for that Night Stalker, if something happened in that game too, like it wasn't just a full stomp. So it's like one of those teams where like, they're in the lower bracket, but
could have been different.
It could have easily been very different. And that's the story of most of the teams at the moment. Like, it's not been a lot of shutouts, other than maybe Liquid Extreme. That was a bit one-sided.
And one strength, well, Falcons have many strengths, but one of their biggest strengths is their ability to correct as the tournament progresses. They do it faster than a lot of other teams. And we heard from Coach AUI 2000 on interview that when he was reflecting on their losing series, he noticed a lot of mistakes. They've talked about the mistakes openly, and they already looked better post-interview when that occurred. So when you look at all of the veterans we talk about, it's not just within the team in terms of the players who are playing, but also Coach AUI, who has won TI himself as a player and also as a coach. And he is the heart of the team in the sense that he can always guide them, let them know where they should make their improvements, and he does it very quickly.
There is one elephant in the room that we haven't really talked about yet, is that both of these teams come from the same group, and they have already faced literally just over a week ago. And it was a very strong 2-0, I believe, for Team Falcons. How much, Lacoste, do you feel like both of these teams have changed since we started them? We always say about how tournament meta evolves as a tournament progresses, which is very noticeable for everyone because of the heroes that are picked. But how much do you feel teams evolve and grow during a tournament?
There's always something new to learn. We saw at the start of the tournament, we had a lot of Sniper who had terrible win rate, sub 30% at one point, and then people started to realize this Morana as the carry is also not as strong, so you have this Tusk plus Wind Rangers, Tusk plus Lunas coming out, and people are starting to theory craft even more, so I want to see what they have been cooking for this one, because meta definitely shifting, and if someone bangs out something special, we've seen like Tinker support being bad and Tinker support in the hands of Extreme Gaming being very good, so different teams have different opinions how the game is played, and that's the beauty of Dota.
And when you talk about bringing out something new and something special, we've seen BB Team themselves pull out combos that other teams aren't playing, like their Cuddle plus Storm, which sounds funny saying it now, but that has not been in meta, even though it was very popular in meta a year and a half ago. Not played so much anymore, and they're doing new things to enable GPK in ways that they didn't at the start of group stages. So if they can keep cooking, coming up with new things, don't play into Falcons' hands with all of their draft preparation, we could have a very good series on our hands.
I mean, we saw it on the graphic before, like contested heroes. Now that we're in the final 3 days of TI, this is where the coaches and the captains need to step up and go, Naga Siren's banned in every game. But do we have a way to potentially beat it? So then it's like a hero that's always been banned suddenly gets into the pool. And that was the same logic with Sniper. Day 1, Day 2, everyone was banning it. Everyone was picking it. 30% win rate in the support role. And now no one cares about it. And I think that potentially there's a couple more heroes that we are respecting heavily during the Road to the International that maybe they can find solutions. And if they surprise you in a game 1, where it's like your entire logic is built on this hero never appearing, that's when all your prep goes out the window and like the excellence experience needs to shine through.
Yeah, and there is, of course, the fact that there have been 2 days break. 2 days, I know they had some obligations in terms of media and things, but they also had time to talk about what they could be doing differently from what they have been doing. And I think it's very important to note, and I don't know how much impact this would have, the last series that we watched was between Extreme and Team Spirit. And we saw very different heroes, as we see here, some heroes that we have not seen at all, Effie.
Yeah, I mean, some of these heroes not being played at the Road to TI or TI now would be very sad. You know, big team fighting heroes like Tidehunter, Pudge is always exciting, makes for very exciting gameplay, and I think a hero that we actually could see at some point will be the Arc Warden. I think that is a surprise pick for a lot of mid players, and that's the one I would keep my eye on from the uncontested.
I still think Lich is pickable. I love Lich. This hero, problem is he's not a melee position 5, he doesn't soak up the damage, but in meta where you're thinking about how to mitigate most of the damage from the enemy team, this Frost Shield with the Facet, it does feel really nice.
Yeah. Only the point to that is Nullifier is so popular because of the aura meta that a lot of those heroes, a Nullifier, okay, thanks.
I know, I was just trying to hype him up.
I'm sorry to kill the
He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
And dispel supports like Enchantress and Shadow Demon make our Frosty friend Lich not so happy. But I do want to talk about some heroes a little bit more. The Tusk, for example, that we mentioned, I really think that will be the pivotal hero for BB Team in terms of how they crafted their draft prep. Because we saw the win rate pop up for Tusk, it said 61.8%, but it should be noted that when Tusk is first phased, his win rate is at 88.9%.
That's just mad. That's just stupid high at this point.
It simplifies the draft so much, but I feel like we saw Faceless Void rise up relatively recently, but against Tusk, like you know you're going to enable a range carry. And we've not really seen the melee carries come to light. But like Faceless Void, use Time Zone, Chrono if you want to. You get that swarming jump to find the backline. Like Tusk does not like fighting throughout multiple layers of stun and skirmish, right? Like I feel like people were a little bit too comfortable with the I pick melee 5, they pick range carry, I'll copy you and off we go. So I think there's so many answers to what is a high-paced poking hero, but not a lot of teams have really tried to explore yet. And I think Aurora did relatively well with their Void, Phoenix, kind of like the play for that mid-game fight logic. But again, I hope people have cooked up some ideas because no way Tusk can go unanswered.
For sure. This is the most overall hero that he's so balanced, like has everything you need.
He does have everything you need. I don't think he will see the light of day, but there's only one way to find out. It is time to get our first game underway.
BB Team versus Falcons. Game 1.
The draft is underway, and I know I was very confident in saying that Tusk wouldn't make it through, but we'll see, because again, 2 days time off means 2 days to theory craft how to potentially counter what has become the strongest hero in the game right now. So we're in it. We got BB Team on the Radiant side, Falcons on the Dire side. First pick goes the way of Team Falcons, and that means BB Team gets the overall last pick, which is a strategic good point to have, and they do remove the Tusk Lacoste.
Yeah, I mean, they did the research. This is the team that did have success with the Tusk. They did have 5 out of 5 wins with the Tusk, and also 5 out of 5 games with Kunkka. So no, not really surprised to see those 2 heroes being banned out, but this also opens up some of the other heroes in the pool. Doom is still available, even though they didn't have much success with the hero. We still see the teams heavily invest into the hero because of what he brings.
And the change up from Falcons, they first picked Doom twice against Tundra in the upper bracket. It didn't work out for them, hence why BB didn't respect it in their first phase bans, and Falcons then shift towards a Sand King.
Yeah, and a lot of teams love to respond with Doom to Sand King because his Doom is a Bloodstone counter with the healing reduction. So Sand King is heavily dependent on that Bloodstone in later skirmishes in the game to just stay in the fight for as long as possible. And BB team do go for the Doom. With that being said, I say that on paper it's a counter, but we've seen Doom lose a lot this tournament and to Sand King. So it is very player dependent on how the team can play and craft around it. But I would say that BB team are one of the better teams at playing around slower offlane heroes.
Yeah, it's because they don't like to break too quickly. Like we saw the stats as well. Like the way that Skidder utilizes Twin Gate is far more than we see Psyche use it. And that then allows you, if you're not making moves, you're not going to be punished if you can win your lanes and kind of create this fortified areas like safe lanes one, off lanes one, GPK then connects where possible. Like if you don't make the first move, you just react, and then that's your way to enter the mid game.
And always this second ban phase is very limited, so a lot of thought goes into A, how to protect the hero you have already picked up, and B, how to preemptively protect the heroes you're planning to pick without giving too much away. Which is maybe why it's unusual to see the Storm Spirit already removed, Lacoste. I feel like that is quite a telling hero.
It is. It's also given respect to GPK. He is a really mean Storm player, and they're also breaking the potential combo that Effie mentioned, this Storm Spirit plus Keeper of the Light, so I don't think we're going to be seeing Keeper of the Light. They will go with something more simple, Mirana, which is still a flex, but I would want this Mirana to be a position 4, considering she's slightly slower than some other carries right now. If we talk about the Wind Rangers, Lunas, she needs that extra item. She needs her level 15 talent, ASAP, level 20 as well.
She also needs setup, which
yes.
BB team are currently lacking.
And there's so many options for Falcons here. They can do like Rubik +1 to take a bit more fight to the early game. You can then go for the is Omni? Yeah, Omni's still available if you want to go for the buff up the mid Sand King, because we've seen Malrine play it a couple of times. You put an early repel on a mid Sand King, throwing in the epicenter, it's so much to handle. But yep, they go for the Omni Knight option, which is perfectly fine. And what are they pairing with it? Alina, a formidable lane, and that prevents Doom. Again, the reason why Doom has struggled so far at the road to the International, potentially at the International, is you used to punish melee carries. You would Infernal Blade the carry, you'd have Scorched Earth, you'd chase them down the lane, but because ranged heroes are getting picked, 90% of the time, random stat I made up in my head, like, you can never actually pressure. You only farm. So now Lina, is going to have a free lane, unless the 4 position is able to try and find some more fight there.
Ooh, and Enchantress is still in the pool, but a Lion coming out together with a Nature's Prophet.
So, I think the player who this tournament impresses with Lion the most, because I'm not usually a fan of the hero, is Save. I mean, this is one of Save's best heroes. I don't want to see this being played as a position 5. You want the heavy kill aggression coming out of your 4. Because there are 2 options right now for BB team. Is they can double down with this Furion. He can TP onto the Lina, and then with the stuns of Lion, with the Scorched Earth of Doom, they can attempt to run her down. Or you just leave the Doom at some point, and then the Lion just roams and tries to win the other 2 lanes. So this NP plus Lion kind of cover for potential map play in either of these cases that I mentioned.
The speed in which BB is going to play is, it should on paper be very, very fast. And again, they have historically played relatively slow, but if the Prophet's from the mid lane, that's when I'm most excited to see Nature's Prophet at the moment, because you get your level so much quicker than being in the safe lane. You always are hunting for that next move, and yeah, they have the setup, they have the tools to try and do it. Now Falcons potentially finding some anti-aggression heroes can be pretty helpful for them.
They did play Nature's Prophet twice so far. They didn't play it from the carrier role, so most likely that's going to be a mid one, where they are going to be pressuring more the side lanes. You have that little bit of extra oomph. So with Lion, with Doom, you're never going to lack damage for killing the heroes. I want to see... I mean, there's still potential to run this NP as a position 1.
I guess the question here is, does Falcons respect the map play? Like a Centaur, for example, would be really good for the game, but it might be too greedy to get into the game. So that's why they've actually opted to go for the position 4 now, just so they get a little bit more information before they lock in a Mars hero. But yeah, picking up Hoodwink can secure most lanes. It can also play into the map and brings more damage, because Omni Knight provides nearly 0 damage in the early fights. It's only survivability. Therefore, Hoodwink's kind of having to do the damage for 2 supports here.
And it's also a very nice hero against Nature's Prophet, where you always can run through the trees, so you don't have to buy that Quelling Blade. And I love the fact that you can also use the trees for the Bushwhack setup. They don't have the best heroes in terms of vision to find this Hoodwink, so could be a really good pick. In terms of setup, they do have Sankin going in, and Lina's LSA with Gleipnir.
And there's a centaur ban from BB, so BB was thinking about it as well. Falcons, this is where hindsight kicks in at the end of the draft. It's like, maybe we should have picked our offlane instead of the Hoodwink there, but we'll see what heroes they have available.
Also, I want to say for Hoodwink, this hero has failed to impress on the old school style of play, which is you build Gleipnir, you scale as a second core, but she has looked good building these utility items like Solar Crust, like Lotus Orb, and just buffing up the carry. So if Hoodwink crit goes down this route, then you're going to have a Solar Crested Lina, you're going to have a Lotus Orb Lina, a Repelled Lina. I mean, she's going to be a turret in this game, and BB team still don't have a means to address her later on in the game. Currently, the way that they're approaching this Lina is that they want to kill her as much as they can and choke out the map. If they don't have that, though, there's no plan B outside of her getting doomed in late game.
One option Falcons have is going for the Timbersaw. Sure, you're playing into a Doom, into a Lion, there's Mana Drain and Doom and whatnot, but if you're such a noisy hero from the offlane, your Lina's never going to get jumped because you have to jump the Timber. The Sanking will never get doomed, so it might feel a little bit weird based on what you look against, but it could just be a big enough wall to keep protecting Skidder as he wants to try and right-click away and be that kind of glass cannon from the backline.
And keep in mind, Falcons, for both Malrine and ATF, the Timbersaw is a staple.
Yeah.
This is not a comfortable pick for Falcons, though, because the flex is still open for BB team. You don't know if this is a Mirana carry, you don't know if it's a Furion carry, you don't know if Furion is going mid, so you can't have the best offlane pick to counter the safe lane yet.
I'm down with some Timber/Razor for Falcons since they don't have the, they don't have the last pick, so they can flex both of these heroes to the off lane and to the mid lane.
Another hero that is the Pangolier. Like with the bans that Falcons are doing, it's very aggressive, kill-hungry heroes, which maybe leans Falcons towards picking a slightly, weaker laner, but better for the game. But it's like Pango, it's Timber, Primal. Ooh. So now it's Sanking offlane, Primal mid. I feel like when you have Malrine on the team, it does scream he should play it, but Amar has been playing a couple Primal Beast games in his pubs, so it exists.
So the Primal, as long as he follows the Furion, is a great pick. I mean, it's considered one of his counters. He can onslaught from a long distance away, find him in the trees. He has the damage to kill him, and later on in the game, it's a BKB piercing disable. So this could, in theory, be played on either lane, depending on where BB teams show their Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, it's really, really annoying to play into, and Primal is one of the few offlaners that independently, with just boots, you can skip behind the tower. So if you want Crit to play active on the map and gank mid, gank top, you can just sack Amar a little bit as he just constantly cycles behind the tier 2, grabbing the creep wave at minute 5 plus, farming camp. So there is ways in which Falcons can play against difficult lanes, hence why picking Primal here also feels good if it can go to the offlane, if Amar is willing to pick it up.
One thing I always like about Falcons drafts is that they are anti-carry. If we talk about the Razors, the Dooms that they like to run, now you have Primal Beast with the BKB piercing tool, also Hoodwink with the break mechanic, so quite a lot of these heroes do get shut down prematurely with what Falcons drafted already.
And with that in mind, and the fact that for BB team there is still quite a bit of flex potential, what are we thinking that they would like to go for? What do we like most in terms of where this Mirana is going to go and where this Nature's Prophet is going to go?
And I think if they can pick up, because Falcons have banned out potential carries, but I think BB team could even pick up a Clockwork to counter the Primal, play him around as a carry, run Fury on mid, and just play off of his rotations. But they haven't looked that comfortable on their Mirana carry compared to, let's say, Team Spirit.
The other option is go for like the Morphling and just lock in the big carry. They go for Windrunner. But yeah, it's just the way in which BB can play this, because of the mid profit, it opens up your carry to be a little bit greedier. And yeah, they're going to go for it. The double range safe lane against, it's Primal Beast off lane.
So this is a safe option for BB team. We talk about them always taking the safe route, and Wind Ranger is a safe route in terms of what they could have done with their draft, but I think that it's going to suffer versus Lina, who likes to build MKB anyway. The Lina doesn't feel that threatened if the first rotations go on her, and later on in the game, Primal Beast eats Wind Ranger, right? He's got Pulverize for BKB, he gets Uproar stacks. They could have done so much here, and they went for the boring option, so I'm not a big fan of their draft in this case.
A boring option sometimes is also the most safe option. It's game one, lower bracket, gotta play it safe, see what the enemy brings.
Yeah, they wanted to secure his farm in the safe lane, so they do have double range heroes. Wind Ranger, one of the strongest laners when it comes down to position 1, and also a little bit of extra oomph coming up from that Nature's Prophet Sprout into Shackle, so you'll always have something to use those sprouts off. And I'm gonna give slight advantage to Team Falcons in here because I love the team fight that they're bringing. These beefy boys for Lina, who's gonna deal the damage, and you have all the buffs pretty much in the world, and all the damage that's gonna be soaked in with the front line.
Yeah, I mean, GPK, the entire early game, he is the playmaker for BB. And there's a Sanking on the enemy team, a Hoodwink, and a Primal, all constantly wanting to chase and find him. And you only need like 1 or 2 of them in the lane to get the kill. So GPK is going to be careful that he doesn't just throw his body into some early fights, die a couple times, and kind of delete the ability for BB to make moves. So yeah, GPK scales, they have a game. If not, yeah, Falcons looks like the stronger draft at least.
I don't want to harp too much on Lina, but Lina came out so early in this draft, and your only solution if you're BB team and your early game plans don't work is she gets doomed. That's not a very dependable solution because we've seen Doom lose in these late game scenarios to Lincoln Spheres, to Lotuses, to proper team fighting, proper observer word placement. So BB team have to play the best 20 minutes of their life to take this.
We did say that one of the strengths of BB team was their first 10 minutes. We'll see if this game they can show that prowess and deliver and make this a very difficult game for Falcons. But there is someone on stage who very much thinks that Falcons will take this game one probably by storm. Let's head over to that stage where Slacks is with AUI 2000.
Thank you so much, Shiver. Hello, Copenhagen. Time to talk to the man himself, the legendary status here coming up at this event, potentially. AUI 2000, so good to see you yet again. Now, they were prepared for you guys, banned out the Kunkka Tusk combo, which you have an endless win rate on, but you let them have that Mirana, which is a pretty high win rate. Your answer for that was the Primal Beast, I'm assuming? This was, I believe, the first time we're seeing you guys pull this out at the International.
Wait,
this International.
First time playing Primal.
I've heard a lot of scrims have included him, but I have not seen him on the main stage.
I mean, we didn't know, but yeah, we pulled it out. We hid the strat. It was all planned. Of course, we hid all our heroes, and that's why we're in lower bracket. We're just hiding strats.
So it's time to cash in on those hidden strats.
Apparently.
All right, now, I'm not here to stress you out, Ali, but this is lower bracket. Might be the last time you're able to talk to the fans, you know. We're going to do the other coach next interview. Anything these guys in this arena can do to hype you guys up and get you ready for this match and to win this one?
I don't know. I mean, I think we pride ourselves in being calm. So obviously we'd love to hear the cheers because I think it'll make them nervous, honestly. But the more cheers, the more the hands are shaking.
All right, fantastic. Well, we can hear that crowd cheering right now. Best of luck to you, and we'll get straight into the game with our casters.
Thank you very much, Slacks. Yes, it's myself, ODPixel here with Fold, ready to take you through the action of this first exciting best of 3 of the day. BB team up against Falcons, Fold. Here in the lower bracket, we heard from the panel, the record as it's gone over the year. It's not been great for BB team. Was something about this matchup, they just can't win a series here. It's where it counts the most, Fold. For them to hold on in this international run, they've got to do it today.
This is the time to prove it. And it's been really, most of the time, just toward those later stages of the game. So I think most of the time when we talk about BBT, early game dominators. It's just, can they close the games out? So many times this year, I swear, me and you have even casted them versus Falcons, 10,000 gold lead, going to 20 minutes, etc. And then they just can't close the game up and end up losing. So yeah, this is the time to prove it. And a very strong early game aggressive lineup that they've gone for around this Nature's Prophet to try to put pressure on the map early on. But is it going to work out? That's the question. As we see Falcons, they bring out the Primal Beast. Amar, not the most comfortable on it in general, but they are comfortable to pick it now that he's played a couple more times in these pubs.
Absolutely, yeah, looking forward to see what he's going to be able to pull out from the offlane on the Primal. I mean, overall, so do you like this approach from BB team? It is, again, one of those drafts, right, where you've got, 4 ranged heroes, 1 melee. A lot of this is going to be on the Doom to kind of tank the brunt of the attacks coming in from Falcons, whereas Falcons, they've got a lot more beef across their lineup.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of team fight on Falcons, which can be a bit of a concern. It's just about the early game aggression. And Skinner
stepping up with the blood grenade, looking to run him down. The heal comes in, though. Skinner at the right.
One more hit.
Save, it's enough. It is. First blood for save.
These two, I actually wish, I want a stat line at some point that we need to get. How often do these two get first blood? Especially in some of these lanes maybe that can have some difficulty with it. Doesn't matter. Even with the Doom, with that Lion, versus a Lina Omni, one of the most defensive lanes, they're still able to get that. I think Save in particular has always impressed us. The way that he's able to make some of these not most traditional 4 heroes kind of pop out, it's always very impressive.
Now looking at some of these matchups so far in the mid lane, some fantastic stuff here from GPK on the first few waves. 13-5 against the 9-0, getting that early lead against Malorine.
Malorine should be able to do just fine though. Probably just a couple extra denies that you'll see come out from GPK, but bullying the Sand King with the Nature's Prophet a bit difficult. We'll just see the rotations. I'm curious to see if GPK is going to be pretty active, especially toward the top lane, toward the Lina, because I think that's why they wanted this, right? Yeah, you don't have the best ways to get on her at some points, but if the Nature's Prophet's TPing behind, you have great ways to dive.
I mean, that's the thing, right? If you look at both of the side lanes of BB Team, they can get action going early, right? They will be able to set up and, you throw a Nature's Prophet, and on top of that, Falcons have got to be ready for these early movements.
Yeah, because bottom, it can be a little bit of an awkward lane, right? You look at this Mirana plus Wind Ranger, there's not really any setup, but when there's a Shackle Shot and there's a Sprout, could definitely see some potential kills. But this one I would say is the harder one for them to get too aggro on versus the Primal Beast and onto this Hoodwink. They have good ways to reset away. And it's very tanky overall. You see Amar just gets the level 2, or I didn't see which level he got it, but he has the Uproar.
So far, Psyker still having no struggle finding the CS down it. Unless they get massively out of position. I feel difficult for Falcons to get the jump onto the Wind Ranger in the lane.
Yeah, it's all about if he just steps up a bit too far. They do get a nice side pull here from Toronto, Tokyo. And thing to point out also, they did get both of the Lotuses in these first 3 minutes. So always important to point it out. When you're playing with Mirana, not the most impactful. Sometimes we meme about this innate, but hey, 20% extra, you get 2 Lotuses. These things can add up in these side lanes.
Mid lane, as you say, starting to catch back up, but the denies actually building up from GPK.
And let's see how much GPK's micro also comes in, because sometimes I see these NPs mid, it's trying to secure runes when you're playing versus these bottle heroes. So, I mean, Malorine's going to get at least one of them finished up and potentially just going to get a refill also. So, but GPK trying to put that hurt on.
That's a lot of damage from him and his
And look, he's canceling the TP, so he is going to be able to deny away that top one. So nicely done.
Top 2 mid play so far from GPK to start this one off.
So levels are going to be quick too, so as soon as that level 6 comes off, we're going to have to keep eyes on this Wrath of Nature, how much it's going to be able to do to these side lanes.
Of course on the top, Snake King should be able to make sure the 2 of them don't ever get left or have to sit very low in HP in this lane. But the bottom one, probably the more vulnerable. Crit's going to have to be careful.
He's got to get some stacks going, it looks like. They can't get too aggressive down here, so Crit we'll work on those. We see Malrine also. It's a Sand King versus this Nature's Prophet, so he's going to be playing around stacks to ensure that he can keep that net worth consistent. Yeah, so far, all 3 lanes though. BBT looking strong.
And this is, as you said, sort of been the story a lot of the times when we do see BBT.
Yes.
Right? This is definitely the part of the game where you really sort of see the kind of the MMRs reflected, right? There's, they're 3 cores at the moment in the top 10 on the board. The laning, the mechanics early on, they're going to be pretty flawless.
Yeah, absolutely. And top overall, I'm just watching them. I'm always watching this top lane from BBT is how much they can go for these dive plays onto Skeeter, because Skeeter is struggling a little bit up here. 400 net worth behind the Doom at the moment. And NP has hit 6, so I'm watching. Wrath of Nature's up, TP's up. Do they want to make an aggressive move off of that immediately?
GPK is definitely going to be ready to join if they do want to dive. But at the same time, Falcons, you can always imagine a quick TP response from Crit or something. That they can respond and they can fight back.
The cool thing that he's doing right now, though, is he's got this catapult wave in mid, right? So he knows that Malrine has to TP back to the mid lane. So if he makes an aggressive move to his side lane now, there's definitely not going to be a Sand King. And this tower is taking a beating.
The 6 minutes in. Look how much damage has already been done by GPK to this mid tier 1. It's basically dead.
It's pretty much gone.
One more push, and this tier 1 tower is going to be taken off the map.
That's going to open up the map for him even more so, too, to make that type of move. Doesn't have to worry about... he doesn't have to worry about where the Sand King is in particular once they take out that tower. They'll have so much information.
Yeah, slow start, but a very steady and sure one here for BB Team. 2k net worth lead already, just 6 minutes in.
Lane dominators.
And Falcons, after when you're going through this laning stage, is it just sort of full focus on making sure you don't give up kills? What's sort of the calls being made from Falcons?
I think it's just making sure that Skeeter doesn't get surrounded. It's going to come very soon. It feels that they're going to look to pressure these towers with this NP having such a good start. The tower's dead mid. So 7 minutes also, he can look to contest the Wisdom Rune if he'd like to, if they had a secondary person in position, but...
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Crit setting up just in case the TP was going to be coming in, but as you say, GPK not going to look to make that risky move, so Crit will be able to secure his own Wisdom Root.
Don't need to make these type of risky moves. I'm sure they're feeling it as well, too. It's like, we're not feeling pressure on these lanes whatsoever. We've killed the Lina, NP's taking the tower, Wind Ranger's not under pressure. It's a free farm across the board for them right now.
Yeah, it really is. Everything definitely going to plan for BB team up.
Tokyo.
Now, though, Tournament Tokyo is found in the trees by Crit. Look at the setup.
Scouts the ward. So he tried to make a sneaky play there, but the ward was already placed from snaking about a minute or so ago, so they will see, or 2 minutes ago, sorry. So they saw this one coming in. They got the stun.
Oh, look at this quick move now from the three of them.
Oh, this
they want to try and punish Psyker here on the Wind Ranger.
See how far up Psyker does go.
4 heroes on the job here to try and kill this Wind Ranger. Look at the setup here from Amar. Quick turn with the shackle shot. TP starting to come in from BB team to save.
Nice stun.
He's in with the stun to hold them back, but it doesn't matter. Crit still in with the bushwhack. Gets the catch.
Skinner.
He'll get the kill. GPK, TP's in and he's ready to fight back, but Marine, he's turned up as well. He's in with the burrow strike and the epicenter in on
huge damage.
GPK going down slowly, but surely he's out. Toronto taking
another stun.
Crit. Once more with the bushwhack, catching the two of them. Double kill for Marine. They've got the level 6 on the bar. They have the grab, they're going to get the team wipe.
Good numbers.
What a fight. They bring the numbers. They start off with just the 4 of them. It gets the response from BB team, but Falcon's just able to play that out that little bit better. Crit getting some fantastic bushwhacks, and yeah, GPK TP's in, but after the initial sort of presence and a few right clicks, he's left vulnerable on the front lines.
Skater does go down, but they have overwhelming damage that comes in from this Primal and Sanking. Malreed, a clutch move. Level 8 now, we've seen a couple times Sankings do this with their first rotations. The first epicenter is devastating.
I mean, at the start, it looks like, hey, you know what, BBT, maybe they're going to get out of this, but Crit coming in from that extra angle from the left sets up. They kind of fully focus in on Tosquita, and that leaves GPK in this position where he's got nothing else to do other than to try and run away.
Yeah, in hindsight, it probably is just a bit of an over-aggressive TP where he goes. Maybe he could have placed himself a little closer to the tower on this Nature's Prophet, but he put himself pretty much right in the midst of everybody, and the big team fight damage that can come out from this Falcons lineup, it can accelerate quickly.
Yeah,
Sanking and Primal is a ton of early game damage.
Well, we see already. Might get another chance to take down Psyker there, and with the bow strike, Psyker's trying to escape, but Snaking slams him down with a hammer. Falcons, they have completely wiped away those early opening, 7 minutes where BB team were dominating the lanes. That's completely gone now.
And now they've got control of this bottom side too. I mean, 2 back-to-back kills on the Wind Ranger. Definitely concerning for him.
And Mallory is going to hit some fantastic timings these games with his early involvements. 203. He's 1800 gold already onto the Blink Dagger. It's going to be super quick this game.
Yeah, and the levels are just coming out super fast just from winning a team fight like that. So overall, BB does have to be careful how they make those over-aggressive moves a little bit here. Unless they can pop the targets almost instantly. Maybe once they have the Lion Finger, they can do another aggressive move like that to kill a target fast, but they need to kill them quick before Falcons reacts.
Absolutely. I mean, it's again the nature of the draft, right, that we talked about. The Doom is the only melee hero. Outside of that, it's a lot of squishies.
It's true. And
if they get caught in the wrong position in a team fight, they will get picked off one by one, especially against all this amount of huge burst and AoE, especially like this stage of the game, right? Falcons, they've got incredible magic damage output.
Magic damage output and just lots of AoE stuns. So GPK starting to get the push going here with his tree at the top. It's going to die, though, so it does make his way at least to mid to maybe take away the rune from Malrine.
Oh, there it is, 10-minute Blink Dagger.
So early.
On top of this phase boost already, Malrine. He's already been a huge threat across the map. That's only going to continue now.
I think his courier's dead, though, right?
I think so. Yeah, it is.
I didn't see where it did die.
Yeah,
so, I mean, a minute where he's not going to be able to bring it unless somebody else brings it out to him. So it could be a little bit of space, perhaps, for Psyker to.
Yeah, Crit's got it. Crit's bringing it out.
Crit's bringing it? Okay, I was going to say, that's usually. I've been seeing a couple players doing this when they do lose a courier, and they're going to instantly smoke him. So, really clever move. And let's see if they're prepared for it on the side of BBT. Scan comes out, so they're aware of at least GPK's positioning at the moment.
He's going to try and get the opening onto Toronto Tokyo, but a couple of leaps will be enough to save him. Another tier 2. This might be a bit too much for Falcons. I mean, they may be tempted to dive the tower. We'll see.
He's pretty fragile on the Wind Ranger.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Straight away with the epicenter and the burrow. The bushwhack perfectly timed afterwards. Keeps Psyker locked down. Another kill on the Wind Ranger.
They might go for
really
more.
Holding his game behind. Got the catch, leaps, they're all on cooldown. Toronto Tokyo's got no way to get away from this.
And you can tell Mara's practiced that. He did the combo where you instantly use the charge afterwards from the pulverize. No way to react. they're accelerating things quickly. BBT, GPK is trying to do almost the same, but look at Falcons responding
CPs
right
are coming
away.
in. Malorine, he's going to be ready with a blink stun if BB send anyone up to this tier 1 tower. I mean, they're already starting to hold back a little bit, GPK and Miro, because I think they know this is not a safe place for them to try and push on.
I think for BBT, they need to just get this Blink Dagger on Miro so he can start getting involved, because map is a little bit scary for them at the moment without him. And like you said, he needs to be that tanky force to jump in and start the action. Otherwise, it's a Nature's Prophet TPing in and likely just dying to all the big magic bursts. So definitely needing that Blink, but it's giving time for Skater to catch back up. He was the one who was struggling a bit on the side of Falcons, but he is actually ahead of the Wind Ranger now. 2K lead for Falcons.
Yeah, they're, when they start to get the lead at this point, I don't think they themselves will feel under too much pressure to make moves happen. They're happy to farm up on all 3 of their cores.
Absolutely.
They know that it's going to still be quite the recovery needed for Psyker after a rough start here. 3 deaths in the early game as the Wind Ranger carry.
That can be pretty brutal when you're playing versus some tanky cores, right? Versus the Sand and Primal that can just get on top of you. And then you throw an Omni Knight who just makes them even tankier, more durable. We'll see how they address this. Amar, he's also queued up the pipe, so really understanding the damage limits from BBT early on. There's the smoke, so they've got their Blink now in the Doom. Can they find anything? Because right now, everybody on Falcons is just split up farming.
They are. They're getting a lot out of the map right now, Falcons. So BBT, when they make these sort of smoke movements, they have to get something good out of it.
Otherwise, it just quickly starts to show in the net worth. It's going to, now up to 3K, it's going to quickly accelerate if they don't find a connection.
At the moment, nobody's down here. Their best effort may be to take the twin gate and try and look for a play up top, but even then, it's only Snaking showing themselves. You see on the map right now, they don't see a lot, BB team. Falcons, whilst they're making as much as they can out of the lanes and the jungles, it's causing it to be incredibly difficult for BB team to find some sort of successful movement. Snaking, they'll just have to maybe settle for it, but even that, off. Yeah, repelling a TP, they're not even going to get the chance to set up onto a support. Falcons just completely evading the moves from BB team.
Yeah, playing the map beautifully. Snaking goes mid. It's the most dangerous position on the map, perhaps, but he's fine with doing that as this Omni Knight. Tends to be the case for Snaking. He does get picked off sometimes, but that's usually their plan. It's tough to get too over-aggressive on BBT because of how early that Sand King Blink came out, because of the Primal Beast. They have great ways to counter-gank any of the BB aggression.
Still got a lot of damage. GPK can kind of get that level 2 in the Wrath of Nature.
Yeah.
He's closing in on the 12. And the Gleipnir. That's going to be the next sort of spot in which that they can look to get him involved. He's going to have a bit of control that's going to help him stop Falcons from getting the jump onto him.
Save. Looking for Snay again. Big Wrath of Nature.
I mean, they may be considering if they can go with the Finger Burst and the Doom. They're going to go for it. And the tempo of the game slowed down, so they're happy to drop some ults here to kill off the Omni Knight. No get him. Snaking slowly but surely go down. Gets a few CS on the way out.
There's going to be an instant smoke from Falcons, though. So you get a kill, but it's on a 5 position. It's one of your big spells, probably your biggest one in this game committed. So have to avoid the ganks now from Falcons on the side of BBT.
And they expect that Miro's going to be playing on the top as we see Falcons come through the twin gate.
Yeah, we see Miro, of course, doing the trick. I'll try to point it out when I can, but, selling stuff for Midas, etc. We'll be keeping tabs on him so he can keep that farm going. And they've reestablished at least that net worth a bit. Just from that one kill, things are at least evened out. He's farming very well.
He really is, yeah. Top net worth now on the Prophet. We'll see over towards the mid. Jump spin made over towards Toronto, Tokyo, but he's got a leap at the ready. He's out. See if they can continue to play around with Save. Anything to put a stop to this? There isn't, so Save's also away, but Amar does manage to get the grab on Toronto, Tokyo. So Falcons finding a kill nonetheless.
Falcons kind of gave him the respect there, though. Even though they didn't have Doom or anything ready, they were a bit cautious how they approached the 2 supports.
Oh, they might be going for Miro now, though.
Oh, now they see him up top, this Ward 2 spotting him.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a pause, Reno. We're going to see, though, after this, what Crit, he's likely to have the setup onto Miro, and Malorine does have Epicenter.
He looks pretty dead.
If they want to do it safe and sound, they can just set up with a Bushwhack, rev up the Epicenter, get in, and Miro not really having many options to get out of this, and does not have any backup nearby.
No. Unless they mess up their chain stun somehow and he's able to TP in between it. That's probably the only way that Miro is able to play his way out of this one. In the meantime, too, Falcons are pressuring mid. They have a pipe already finished up on Amar, so damage for BBT is a bit limited.
See Miro. Yep. He's going to try and juke around
Okay, kind of mean he's still going.
They're going to get him. It's a little sloppy, but a kill's a kill.
Don't need the burrow trick save. Let's find the Hex on Amar, but Amar has 2,000 HP with a pipe.
Amar's like, I'll go in. Save, he turns with a quick stun. But yeah, Amar very much showing right now There's not a lot that he's scared of.
He looks pretty unkillable unless he gets like Doom and Fingered, it feels like. Especially if he has an Omni Knight behind him. This build is going to be very valuable versus the majority of magic damage that BBT has early on. GPK does have the Gleipnir finish. Level 2 Wrath of Nature is online. So let's see if he can make more active stuff happen. And if they want to make more active stuff happen, that is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, does GPK want to look to fight, or do you think he wants to look to continue to farm and get the BKB before he starts turning up? Because there is a lot of stuns on Falcon.
Yeah, I think the BKBs are going to be pretty necessary versus the Sanking and Primal. I mean, even versus the Lina. It's a lot of magic. It's a lot of just mixed hybrid damage on the side of Falcon, so they might actually have to wait for that. But do you really want to give so much time is the question. I think as we said, as the panel said, as everybody kind of knows throughout this year, you don't want to give time to Falcons. You want to be the ones aggressing and putting pressure on them. Lion save is close to a Blink Dagger as well. That's actually pretty impressive with like how passive the kind of game state has been. So perhaps with that as well, they're going to be able to make another aggressive move.
Yeah, between the Finger Burst and the Doom, I mean, it's not necessarily a guaranteed kill on a lot of these targets because they have so high HP.
Ooh. And also, Malrine does have a Shield Rune. So even if they throw, let's say, a Doom onto him, if he pops the Shield Rune post-Doom, could be problematic for him as well. As Miero shows himself for a second, and they're going aggro.
He's going to look for the setup, and Malrine's coming in with the follow-up. Miero once again not going to have anybody around to save him as Falcons pick up another freebie across the map.
They're getting so much. Just tough for BBT to make aggressive moves, and yeah, it does feel like it's probably going to have to get those BKBs online. I think Saika, you have to accelerate your BKB. We've seen a lot of these Wind Rangers. As the tournament progressed, it was straight Gleipnir most of the time, but I think the team started to recognize you need to go BKB a little earlier. But he's still not that close either. Those 3 deaths really slowing him down. Toronto, Tokyo.
He's pretty deep here.
He's very
testing the vision of Falcons. They're going to see him. They don't quite get the opening.
Nope.
Guys are going to be off the mark. Mari's still able to blink in and try and body block him off. Toronto Tokyo is out at leaps. That will mean that he is still very dead, despite the initial spells missing from Falcons. It doesn't matter at this point. They can kill these heroes regardless.
Just limited moves. BBT, it's going to have to be waiting for BKB.
Save.
It does feel like it. Save's going to go for a pick.
The opening.
There's an Omni here.
Backups. Whoa. Okay.
Uh-oh.
That happens to the best of us.
I don't think they had him anyway. Now GPK.
I mean, that's what Save will tell you. Is we weren't going to get him anyway. Well, that was...
Oh, no.
It doesn't look great, folks.
Things are crumbling quick, Owen.
They are first game out here on the main stage, and it may be getting to BBT.
It does feel like it's 3-15. I mean, after the first 5 minutes, right, that was them doing 1 lanes, but nothing's gone their way at all after that. Miro spotted bottom Amar. He's on him.
He is. See if Miro's got a way to play out of this. This time he might be able to escape.
But they also lose Toronto Tokyo in the mid. There's just action everywhere.
I mean, Miro
Doom comes out.
Down the Doom. Snakey's going to be here with a backup. Can they at least kill Amar?
No.
They can't. Not even with the 3th, and they have to fall back.
This is rough, Owen.
Yeah, Amar knows this well. He's ready to start throwing some tips out. This game is looking incredibly difficult for BB Team to hold on in.
Yeah, and Amar, they talked about the Primal Beast. It's something that Malrine has played the majority of their games. I know even at the last tournament, when they picked Primal, they actually had them swap, and they played different roles. So
here we go. Maybe snaking. He's pretty tanky still.
He's quite tanky.
He has a support.
He has a Solar Crest.
See what he wants to do. How many buttons he wants to press whilst he makes them sort of spend a lot of time. They can't even kill him. They can't even get him close to dead.
Oh, and this game is completely fallen out of control. They get GPK as well. Top, there's a Bloodstone on Malrine. Top net worth. They can't even kill the 5 position. Sometimes Falcons, they sacrifice their 5s, their supports, etc. This game, they don't even have to sacrifice them. They're just running away with everything.
And this has got to feel rough for them. You've got to imagine, right? I mean, you've been there yourself. When you're on the stage, a game happens like this. This is your first game out there. How are you kind of getting the team morale back together after beginning this rough?
It's a good question, especially when you're playing versus your kryptonite of the entire year. You come into this one with an idea, with a plan, and it's just completely fallen apart after the first 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Here we go.
They're going to smoke again.
See what they can get here. Jump onto the side. Save's going to be there with a Hex. There's backup for Skinner.
Here's Skinner.
Race down under the 2 of them. They'll get the kill. They'll be able to take down Crit.
Malrine, he's healing.
Bloodstone heal indeed. He's keeping him alive. He's over with the bar.
Oh my God.
They're going to get GPK as well. Triple kill. They can kill Crit, but I don't think they can kill any other of these heroes on Falcons.
It doesn't feel like... I look at the timings Malrine's hit. He's got Lightstone Veil, and of course he gets the most OP neutral item he could have possibly got for the scenario too.
My goodness.
The Vampire Fangs. He just sustains through it all. He's up to full HP. Level 18. Oh boy.
We'll see it again. A little sort of split efforts at the beginning on who to go on.
They just don't have the damage at this point. I mean, Malrine, look, he's just soaking all but 3 targets beating on him with the solar flare active.
I mean, that's the thing. I felt like GPK TPing in there just gave Malrine more units to lifesteal off.
Perhaps.
He wasn't doing any damage.
Oh, boy. We've seen Doom struggle in quite a bit of these games, especially in this road to TI, but now, I mean, it's not Miro's fault in particular, but the whole lineup in general is just kind of crumbling. 4-21, they're going to lose their Tormentor, too.
Yeah, Falcon's just taking everything across the map. And it's going to take some sort of comeback. Like, I feel we just don't really see from BB Team at this point to turn this one around. It's going to have to be something completely, a complete surprise, something we've never seen before from them. Because right now, everything is looking up for Falcons.
Because even when now at this point, the fact that the game has gotten so one-sided, when they get these BKBs, yeah, they'll be a little more survivable, but we've seen they just have no damage, and more of these auras are coming out. Primal Beast, we see Amar, he's got the Crimson. You can see Toronto Tokyo's desperate stuff.
Okay. He takes his chance, they get out. Toronto Tokyo, he's just trying to get some sort of vision.
Waves.
Getting something out on the map, but they kill him again.
They've got no control of the map whatsoever. Like, everyone's just trying to, like, suicide lanes a little bit, but it kind of just is that at this point, this suiciding. 0-8 on Toronto Tokyo. And I don't think yet this game I've seen them been able to catch any, like, arrow setups with the shackle shot or with the sprout or anything. I mean, I know the game accelerated quickly after those first 7 minutes, but they just aren't landing any type of synergy spells, while Falcons, it is landing nicely. And now pushing this tier 2, Amar dropping the flags, and they bought themselves a gem. So on top of already having complete control of the map, now they're looking to take out the little vision that BBT did have. So smooth sailing, it feels like now for Falcons, unless they make some type of crucial mistakes.
I mean, this is the thing as well. I feel like their lineup is pretty resistant to mistakes, right? They've got a lot of, they've got the auras online, they've got a lot of frontline, they've got a lot of ways to dive high ground, they've got a lot of save from snaking. It feels like even the high ground push for this lineup on Falcons is still a point where it's going to be so difficult for BBT to punish.
I look at the HP on these heroes, right? Like, yeah, Malrine doesn't look as tanky because it's only 2200 HP, but he's got 30 armor, he's got that insane sustain that comes out, they've got an Omni behind. They're all very durable at this point, and BBT's damage, it just hasn't really increased too much. As we said, survivability's up, the BKB's up on 2 of the cores, actually about to be up on the 3rd core as well from Miro, but will that be enough damage for them to go through? Just doesn't feel like it.
And who do you even look to go for when they're sort of holding the defense against the 5-man push? If you're Miro, who are you jumping in and looking as a key Doom target?
At this point, who knows? You probably want the Sand King, but then you have to be careful of the Omni, so maybe some simultaneous initiation while the Omni sees controlled, but at this point, now Snake King's just tanky, so you have to keep him controlled the whole time because you're not going to kill him. So I don't know, Owen. Because you're also playing into Aegis, it's just complications everywhere.
Yeah, Mar's going to start working on a Lotus as well to throw another sort of problem into the mix here for BBT.
Yeah, they're already ahead of the steps that they need to worry about, like getting these Lincolns and Lotus. They can start doing it if they'd like to, but there's some pretty crazy levels to point out as well. Malrine, we talk about how flawless his game has been on the Sand King. Level 20 in 24 minutes is pretty crazy. That has to be one of the highest XPs I think I've seen in this tournament.
And there we go with the push. BBT, they've got to do something now. Smoke up's there.
Who do you go for? Hey, they gotta go for some type of crazy wraparound, but the positioning has already been given up.
They're gonna try.
Malrine's already in his spot to watch the smoke.
Can they make some sort of jump that catches Falcons by surprise? Save. Leading the way, they'll get the vision set up. The smoke will dispel here. Save's gonna jump straight away. They're gonna find Snake King. Can they kill him? Malrine is into the counter play. The 2-man.
Miro's gone.
They're fully committing it onto Snake King, but they can't kill him. He pretty much fully heals. They just can't do the damage. Falcons survive. They'll tap out. GG is called. Falcons dominate game 1.
This one was not even close, it felt like. You know, we talked up BBT's early game, talked how sometimes they can get these advantages early on. That didn't happen, Owen. It's going to be back to the drawing board, it feels like a bit for them, as Falcons comes in very prepared today.
Oh, they really do. What a way to start their show here on the main stage, Falcons. And yeah, BB Team, I mean, not just a loss, but a rough loss as well. We're going into a series in which, you know, this next game too, They've just never been able to win that in a best of 3. They've never been able to take a series against Falcons. In this next game, they're going to have to do something that seemingly and statistically has been impossible for them.
They've got to kick it up a lot more. And, I had a little bit of a question. Is Malrine going to feel the pressure of the main stage? No, he did not. He dominated. And BBT, they definitely felt a bit of that pressure. Let's see what they can do afterwards.
Absolutely. What a showing from Falcons. And as you say, Malrine on his Sand King. Damn. Well, we're going to pass you back over to the panel, see what they have to say about that game 1 stomp.
Yeah, I don't think he felt the nerves at all for the main stage. If anything, he felt the energy on the main stage and channeled it into an amazing performance on his Sand King and leading his team to victory. Falcons 1 game up against BB Team here in the lower bracket of the International. Let's discuss how this came to be, because we pointed out some issues that BB Team might have during this game. And I want to start, Effie. We said it was going to get really difficult for them to shut down the Lina.
And it didn't even have to get to the point where Lina became this unstoppable force within Falcons, because the plan that BB Team crafted around their draft of we're just going to use our Furion's global presence, we're going to run down the Lina with Scorched Earth plus Lion, we're going to do that over and over again until she has the game. They didn't even execute that better than Falcons did. This here was the key play in the game. Falcons brought all of their heroes, including Speeder on Lina, through that twin gate. They brought the numbers and they just overwhelmed BB Team here. You do lose your Lina, who already had a rough game prior to this point, but that's the beautiful thing about Falcons. Skeeter does not care if he's sacrificed for the greater good of the team. He doesn't mind dying 2, 3, 4 times, so long as the rest of his team can get an advantage.
We did mention the differences between 2 carries, Saika, aka Nightfall, and Skeeter. Like the twin gate usage that you mentioned, he's always so active, and we can see some of the uncharacteristic mistakes here from Save, the nerves, something that this team always has problem with when they're playing on the big stage. But that also, like, nothing went wrong for them except the first 5 minutes of the game where they had 2k gold lead and then turned it into pretty much a feeding fest. 13-minute smoke from BB Team, Blink on Doom, Finger ready. They smoke in a different part of the map. Bottom part, they're behind Saika, who already died 3 times. They're like, we gotta help him out, we gotta find something. They don't find a single kill, so they go back to the top lane. They get the kill there, but I believe that was their last kill in the game.
I mean, I think BB, that the last pick was just, atrocious for what they needed. They picked Windrunner, they're picking a carry that's going to be doing the same itemization as the Nature's Prophet. The Nature's Prophet already wasn't really able to play onto the map, because you're not going to go TP to a Primal Beast lane, you're going to die there. You're not playing into the Sand King because you've got Sandstorm, you can't really push the tower. And then top lane, there wasn't really many opportunities after the start of the game to go there again. So it's like, you need your carry to either, crush the off lane, crush Amar, don't allow him to be confident, or just farm and scale and not do it. But yeah, Falcons, they read this and they punished it constantly. 0-5-1 on the Windrunner, Malrine popping off 13-0-8 on the Sand King. Like, they identified that BB had no map to play, had no moves to make, and like, sure, Nature's Prophet can be aggressive, but not into these heroes from Falcons.
Yeah, we even saw Falcons make 2-man smokes. The second Malrine on that Sand King gets his Blink Dagger, boom, 2-man smoke, him and crit. Who's the hero they find? The carry, Wind Ranger, behind the tier 2. They go for that play. Who on the side of BB Team can mirror a play like that? Are we going to see 2-man smokes coming out of Lion plus Nature's Prophet? That isn't happening, because your Nature's Prophet is farming, playing Recovery. Your Doom is playing on a very long cooldown, and the other support in Mirana fallen out of favor from Position 5 for a reason. It just does not provide that much map play without maybe 2 other heroes. So BB Team, I think they are their own worst enemies, because they BKB TP'd their draft basically with that Wind Ranger pick. They had so many options they could have gone for. They could have countered the Primal Beast with the clock, run the Mirana as a carry. They could have blast picked a mid laner, run the Furion as a safe laner, and tried to counter Primal from the mid lane. But instead, they go for Wind Ranger.
Yeah, there's not a lot more to add. I will say, though, this Sand King was overall first picked in this draft, and I know there's flex potential, so we don't know if it's going to go on the off lane or if it's going to go mid, but I felt the cost that this was a Sand King that, regardless of where he went, he did not feel countered at all. Or would you contribute that to Malrine's style of play?
It's also about the matchup. This Nature's Prophet in the mid, he doesn't really do much to the Sand King, because what he does is he just pushes out the waves, and he's also farming the jungle at the same time, while Nature's Prophet can't really do that. Also, if you leave the lane, he's going to push your tower as well with the catapult timing. Sand King, this has to be one of the most farmed Sand Kings I've seen.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah, I also want to point out the itemization from Amar in the Primal. He goes for Pipe, which is a funny item to get when you're looking at a core of Windranger, Furion, and Doom who does pure damage, but he identified that they don't have damage outside of the supports, which were Lion and Mirana. Most of the early game damage is coming out of the Starfall, coming out of the Finger of Death, coming out of Scorched Earth potentially, and he just countered that with a Pipe, which looked really funny versus that mid and that carry, but it did a great job.
It did do a fantastic job leading Falcons to be one game up. As we prepare for game number 2, we are going to see what Slacks and Tsunami are up to right now.
Hello, Copenhagen! How we doing out there, fam? Yes, it is early in the morning, but we thought we would celebrate some of these fam in here. In fact, we wanted to find a 5-stack for you here today.
That's right, we just saw an exceptional display of team play from the Falcons, and we wanted to see if that could be replicated here into the crowd. So we found ourselves a 5-stack. Gentlemen, we are so happy to have you in our presence, because we want to see if you can match what Falcons have been able to give you, because we got Falcons to actually sign a little handful of Nature's Prophet antlers.
That's right, they signed them. This is just for you. Are you a big Falcons fan?
Yeah, of course.
Name 3 players.
Snaking, Skeeter, Crit.
Yeah, okay, that works.
He's a believer. All right.
Now, I also don't believe that they're a 5-stack, but...
don't break the 4th wall.
I'm breaking it. Do you know any of these people's names?
No.
Oh, they are, you animals!
Spoken like
Come on!
True carry player, because are you not a carry player?
I'm a +1 player.
All right!
+1 player. He doesn't need to know the rest of his team.
Absolutely, I agree. Give him the Skeeter. Give him the Skeeter.
You have the Skeeter.
Oh, I
Give
have
him
the
the Skeeter.
Here's your Skeeter. You are just as attentive as the real Skeeter. Thank you so much.
Now, who's the real 5 position around here? Of course, the most courteous of them all, my friend. Now, when you're out here trying to support these people who don't even know your name, what's your position? You handle it okay?
Yeah, I don't know, but I keep buying the wards, and the best update for me was that wards became free.
Yeah.
Free couriers also? No flying couriers? So you've been playing Dota for a while, right?
Yeah, for about... Yeah, since Dota 1, actually.
Let's go! In that case,
right.
you have very well earned yourself a snaking antler. Can you pick that one out of the bottom of my hands?
That's the dependable player.
Exactly.
Well done, the dependable one. All right, which one of you is the asshole? I got ATF here. You! All right, fantastic. What's your name, sir?
What?
Huh? What do you play?
I play mostly Slaughter and a little bit of Noise. Post free.
Oh, a position?
Post free.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there you go. Enjoy, asshole.
He fits right in.
All right, fantastic.
All right, now which one of you is the quiet type? Because I'm looking for a crit. I'm looking for a forward position.
Oh.
It's gotta be you. Now, you said that you were advocating for Falcons. You know their names. So, where are you rooting for crit? How long have you been watching crit and all of competitive Dota?
Well, since Crit played on OG. So, big fan. And Danish Viking, of course.
Any love for Danish Dota in the crowd, my friends? We're in Copenhagen. Have yourself a crit antler, then. Enjoy.
And the last one you have.
That's right. I couldn't make it out. Oh, wait. I stole the snaking
Yeah,
one.
that's a snaking.
My bad. Wait. Here, I traded back.
Give us that back! You don't deserve that.
Listen, Maureen writes like as young as he is. So,
That's
I
right.
mean,
That's some brain rot writing right there. That's
who's the mid
last
laner?
guy right there. Are you the mid laner, sir? Name a mid lane hero that you play.
Puck.
Okay, he's a mid laner. Give it to him. Fantastic.
Enjoy, my friend. Enjoy.
And we do have one more. We have Owie 2000. Oh, you're a coach.
Yeah, I coached him.
All right, we're just lying all over the place. Look at that, team. Why not? Fantastic. Thank you so much. The crowd is hyped. Gentlemen, enjoy your signed antlers.
I have one last question.
Oh, a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was wondering, when does OG play?
Oh, that's very funny. That's very good. Enjoy those DMs from Seb, sir, for the rest of the day. And we'll throw it back to our panel. Thank you so much, everybody. Back to you, Shiva.
Well, I think he's gonna have to do with the energy that Thompson and Crit bring to this year's international as former OG players. But Crit's doing very well here in this first game. We also have a little bit of a change up in the panel right now as Lacoste has taken exit to make space for none other than Gunnar. Hey Gunnar, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good.
I am sorry to see you here on the panel and not playing, but I'm also very happy to see you here on the panel.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch that first game. I thought Beppu was one of the really fast teams, and then watching Falcons kind of just crush them. And this 8-minute team fight was really nice to watch. No bias.
No bias at all from the panel. Why do you think it is that BB Team consistently have never been able to take a series off of Falcons? What is the big thing that makes it incapable for them?
I think Beppu is a little static of a team, BB Team. And Falcons usually brings their heroes a lot more than they do using the gates. Like Skeeter loves using gates. And BB Team doesn't really use them that much, so I think when they got outnumbered in that one really big fight, it kind of turns the whole game around. And once you're behind versus Falcons, they keep running at you and pressuring you, and they don't really give you any space.
And you feel that maybe game number 2, BB Team has got different things in mind, because you know the squad very well. So do you feel like they can bounce back?
Yeah, I think it was kind of hero related. They picked Doom, which hasn't been doing good this tournament. And then I think giving away Sand King to Falcons is kind of their bread and butter. They play only on mid. They don't really do this offlane, and I think they also picked, assuming it was an offlane Sand King with the Windrunner, so I wasn't really too big of a fan of how the draft played out for them.
Yeah, it did not play out very well. So let's focus our attention on this upcoming game number 2, because TGov, changes are needed. And you mentioned earlier that we know that the BB Team has never taken a series off of Falcons, but we do know that they have tied in series, and that normally it is game 2 where BB Team takes that tie.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is one of those moments where they are going to have to look at, you said the Doom, like, this is not a hero that Falcons would rush towards. They failed against Tundra picking Doom, so this could have easily been a series where the hero could have got ignored, but they rushed for it. And I kind of feel like when you have players like Amar, Ramses, ATF, like these type of offlaners with the greed, put them on the greed that plays into the map in the first 20. Doom's a little bit more static, where it's like, I want to farm my Midas or my Aura, and then sure you get a blink in like the difficult games, but there were so many different options in this draft, and I think they got a little bit too excited to rush towards what was available rather than the bigger picture. And if they don't do that in the second draft, then I think they'll have a much better chance at least taking the fight to them.
Yeah, a lot of teams gravitate towards Doom versus Sand King because his Doom is a Bloodstone counter, which is one of Sand King's big power spikes, but that just hasn't played out this TI. And the reason why is when you're looking at Doom, this is a very high cooldown ultimate. He doesn't provide like a blink stun the way that Sand King does, or a Centaur potentially. So when you end up playing into Sand King, you think that you counter him, but map play, Sand King completely counters Doom because he's not playing on the same cooldowns. He's not dependent on Epicenter to get kills or run around the map with his supports. We saw Mamin constantly running around with his 2 supports, whereas Nero could only make a play like, every 2 minutes? And that really was why, after the early game went so abysmally for BB Team, they just had no means of coming back into the game.
Yeah, I always think calling GG before any racks are down is definitely a pretty bad sign. But we'll see if they have a chance here to force out a third game to this series. It is up to game number 2 for BB Team to attempt that, as the players will take the stage once more. We're heading closer and closer to that draft, and I wonder, we're probably also going to see a difference in pick order in terms of BB Team being maybe first pick this time around versus second pick. And Gunnar, how big of a difference do you feel first pick and second pick are at the moment?
I think it definitely depends on the team. A lot of the mids of this tournament really are doing the cheese picks. Like, there's not much Huskar, there's not really the Dazzle. So I feel like second pick has lost some value in terms of this 24 pick. And the 18, and even having the first pick means a lot. The bans are kind of limited, even in the first phase. There feels like there's so many when there's 7 bans between the 2 teams, but you're always getting something. You're getting some crazy support. The teams that value Doom get Doom. And it kind of ends up that you just pick a really good hero, you pick stable lanes, you get 18 pick, which is always going to be really good. And there's so many worrying heroes. I think Puck is this really scary hero on 18 that people have to ban. They can't ban anything else, so I would prefer first pick for either of the teams.
The thing with first pick as well is you have 2 bans as well when you're into the next phase, and then your opponent, they have to instantly counter your first pick, and they have them 1 ban to try and fix everything. So it's like if you pick one hero incorrectly, if you waste that second ban, now suddenly your first pick team has 4 heroes with the counter, the last pick that Gunnar is mentioning, and that's the foundation of your entire draft. Like, first pick can dictate so much if they throw in a curveball, they just pressure their opponent with the better first pick overall.
And when the meta becomes more limited in terms of hero pool, like I was mentioning, cheese picks on 24, it feels a little bit different when second pick is around, but we're not seeing those, and the hero pool feels more limited in this meta, where the 24 picks can't be as strong as they used to. We've seen some 24 pick trolls, we've seen some 24 pick, in this case, Wind Ranger, but none of these heroes have enough oomph to carry them through the draft. I do think, though, and I want to repeat this, that BB team were in a position to counterpick that Primal on 24, and they just went for the most stable, boring option, which was their biggest problem.
Yeah, I think they entered game one thinking, okay, let's not try and go too far outside of the box, and that unfortunately isn't what's going to help you, progress further. And it goes back to the Tundra series, right? They're in a position, they need a last pick off lane, they're looking towards Ramses, what you want, he goes for a Night Stalker. Like, we don't see this hero at all, it has many weaknesses, but that's like the statement you need to make, and BB had a very good opportunity to make that statement and then their debut to the main stage here, but a little bit too much comfort.
A little bit too much comfort as we see the man of the match, Malrine, showing off his lucky charm with Hello Kitty there. And to be honest, for Falcons, it feels very smooth. We talk a lot about what BB team should change in game number 2. But Gunnar, in the winning position that Falcons are, do you feel like they are looking at something different for game number 2? Because it just felt almost too easy.
Not so much. I think they stick to their formula, which the way I see it for Falcons is Marine is going to be playing an aggressive hero that can go in.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they get to anything, they pick it. Cedar is going to be a hero that has a really strong nuke or a stun, so they can take the gate. He always plays King Boots if you watch his games, and he wants to keep fighting with his team. He'll play like Troll, Lina, Wind, stuff like that can go. Amar is just anything that's strong for the game, and then the support just kind of fill in the little holes. Like, usually Crit's an aggressive hero, and they got everything they wanted in that draft, and I think they're going to keep doing the same thing every single game until someone proves that it doesn't work.
And the issue is BB, they only have a single game to try and react to that. So it's easy for us to go, they need this or that, but it's like Miro needs to play the offlaner that fights into the game. I think their mid lane matchup, honestly, Psyking needs to get banned, because all of our Malrine heroes, you can at least maybe think of a counter. Psyking feels a little bit too generic. Like, we even saw in that game, he was able to just grab the creep wave before they met, sandstorm to the side, so Psyking can play into pretty much any matchup. Like, if Malrine has this type of mid hero, you're never going to have GPK in that mid advantage. I think if you can have a mid advantage, that can then break Falcons at least a little bit.
Yeah, we're going to find out what heroes the teams have in store for each other as we're getting ready for the draft of Game 2.
BB Team versus Falcons. Game 2.
And the roles have indeed reversed, where we have BB team on the dagger this time around, and they get first pick. Falcons will therefore be reacting as second pick, and with that overall last pick. In terms of the bans coming out, we still have Falcons prioritizing that Invoker, removing him from the pool, keeping in mind that Batrider and Monkey King were first phase banned previous game, and the Tuscan Kunkka also are banned. Sand King as the key hero, if he's still in.
Yeah, Sand King should be something that BB team are looking at, but this is something that every time I watch them, I just feel like they lack the confidence to do something new when it counts. We talked about Tusk having an 88% win rate from the first pick, and they have first pick, they ban out the Tusk themselves. They don't even try to acquire it for themselves, and they go back to their Doom that already lost. They are unable to break their formula under pressure, and I think that just might be their bane this tournament.
I think to bring up the Doom, something that Falcons did, Amar specifically, instead of going Midas initially versus Tundra, he was going a different build. He was going drums into Blink. And the second game versus Tundra was really close. I think that the Doom it was not his fault at all. He was owning pretty much the whole game. And so if they're going to pick the Doom, I would honestly prefer he goes this faster build, no Midas. You can use the drums off cooldown, you can sell it because of the new facet on Doom, and you just kind of play this aggressive hero that is really tanky and walks in.
And saying it during game 1, but Doom thrives when the team wants to play quicker for Doom to follow, like you were mentioning. And I think if the game stabilizes, where Nightfall or Psychosauri is hitting his creeps in safe lane, GPK is recovering, that's when Dooms just lose games, like 41% win rate so far. Like, you need to be aggressive, you need to play it quick, utilize the advantages. And that's why the Lion pick did a lot of work, right? Like, they got the first blood in the laning phase, like Lion sets up the Doom for success, but it's
the carry, the five in the mid that really have to fix the problems that Doom faces right now.
That's true. I think Nature's Prophet mid with Doom does not correct for a lot of his issues. He doesn't have that skirmishy ability to blink stun, to take fights when he's down, and then you're just entirely dependent on Doom being your playmaker through his ultimate ability, which is a formula that will not work. So I just want to see some Storm Spirit, I want to see some Invoker, I want to see some GPK hero come out here that isn't a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, you did mention two heroes that previous game were already banned by the time second phase comes around, so I'm wondering if Falcons is going to put the same priority on banning out Storm Spirit, or if there are more heroes that BB Team can go for to make sure that they get a playmaker like that. We got Luna removed from the pool. Keep in mind for Falcons, this Mirana is incredibly flexible. We have not seen them play it yet on Skeeter or Snaking, but we know both of them can play it. The only Mirana we've seen from Falcons so far was in the hands of Crit.
Yeah, and it's incredibly strong in the 4-roll as well. When you can buff up your cores and give them additional damage with the Solar Flare, and it's not fixed onto a core hero, I think it helps. Mirana core is very strong, but you're very greedy. You're always chasing that next item to pack a punch in the fight. And if your 4-player can pull it off, like Crit, like Saxa, then yeah, I think it's got a high value there. Also very strong in lane.
I think the big thing with Mirana, specifically between the two roles, is that when you pick her and you get a really nice range carry later in the draft, you can just put her on 4. And then if you don't, you can still just put her as carry. So we've seen like really cool carry heroes, like Ame played Muerta the other day with Mirana 4, you can just kind of pick, and it forces the other two to have to ban Lunas, Linas, Wind Rangers, stuff like that, because of how strong they are as a combo.
And now simplify the game further. There's a DK that keeps up the flexibility. Falcons love this combination of heroes throughout the entire season so far, and DK, hit stun, be Mirana, be Arrow, hit stun as well, keep it, yeah, textbook stuff.
And it enables Falcons to do similar things that they did last game, which is 2-man smokes, the ability to playmake without bringing their entire game after the laning stage is over, which BB Team just didn't have. They had a Mirana playing with a Furion and Alliance support, so their ability to enable it through the support role did not exist. Now the flex for Falcons doesn't even have to be done. They can just keep it on 4 and it looks solid.
The big thing for BB Team now is they have to pick heroes that kill Dragon Knight. He's very strong when he sits out in the middle of the safe lane, gets to do everything, even hit the mid tower, as a lot of the Dragon Knights do. So they take the Sapphire, the ultimate is a really good tool, magic damage to kill the Dragon Knight. I think even something like a Timbersaw later in the draft has been good. I know some of the teams even run Timbersaw 4 specifically. I don't know if that's a BB Team special, but just these heroes that actually have enough damage to chew through Dragon Knight in the early game, and even scaling damage is always good for Sim.
It also helps that I think DK players have shifted to the armlet build a lot more. We've seen some players go for Midas, some players just skip armlet, but you farm so quickly, you're so tanky that if you have only forms of cheap damage, then even if you are trying to kill him, one armlet toggle and he disengages and your entire move has been broken. But going down the line of killing tanky heroes, you pick up the Elder Titan with the Aura, try and put as much damage potential onto DK as possible.
Yeah, this aura is going to do a lot in terms of amplifying Mortimer's kisses, scorched earth in the fights, but physically it doesn't do that much to DK. What it does set up for, though, is a really nice range carry here on 18 for BB Team.
The Centaur Hoodwink has prevented the potential morphling from BB a little bit. That lane is so potent, you can't then get the free morphling pick, get the calendar to get buffed up by the ET Spirit. It complicates BB just a tad more.
Yeah, Centaur's an amazing offlaner kind of to prevent range carries. Range carries really struggle, especially like the Wind. She can never really kill him, he buys Blade Mail, so it makes this pick a little hard for BB Team, which is why I think they're going to take the mid. It's going to be a lot more stable. He does actually have a bad matchup versus Dragon Knight, but it's kind of what Mir was saying, that they needed a hero that goes in with the Doom, can skirmish, can be aggressive, and not this like slower hero like Nature's Prophet.
Do you feel right now that they actually are still drafting in a way where they are conceding the early game? Like their damage outside of lane is like the Mortimer Kisses, the Doom, the ET helping someone else. Storm without items, like there's no real game I see right now unless Psycho on the carry wants to be aggressive.
It depends a lot on the support level 6s, I would say. So if anything, it's kind of hoping for a good early game for them, that they win their lanes, their supports get high XP, maybe they fight the XP runes, get both of them. But honestly, this draft so far is a lot going to be around the supports of BB Team. Whether they get these early levels, they can do the damage to follow up the Storm.
And you mentioned up the support level 6s, the Earth Splitter and the Mortimer's Kisses. These are very team fighty spells alongside the Doom too. But if you look at the draft of Falcons, they're playing on very low cooldowns. They're playing on the Hoodwink who's going around with Bushwhack. They're playing around the Centaur's initiation with Hoof Stomp. They're playing around DK, who, yeah, he does have Dragon Form, but like Gunnar mentioned, he's pretty much always strong. And the Murano, who plays on Arrow Starfall. So Team Falcons can exploit BB Team very easily if their first couple of ultis just don't go well, because there's going to be a period of the map where the only hero they can depend on is, like Team mentioning, the Storm plus potential carry.
All right, what's the, you play off lane, Gunnar. Let's say you're playing Centaur right now. What's the carry you're most afraid of?
There's not too many, honestly, right now. He's really stable and strong. In the past, it was Templar Assassin, but I think she's kind of been nerfed a little too much to be really strong. There's Drow that people kind of like sometimes because she has pretty good armor, so she actually doesn't take too much from a turn. But there's nothing, honestly, that really is jumping out. I could see them doing just a stable kind of like troll.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
good lane. Yeah.
Band, yeah.
I see.
Because that's the difficult position, I think, for BB. It's like, as much as you'd love to pick a hero that can maybe pressure the Centaur, because of the Hoodwink, it fixes the potential vulnerabilities that Centaur may have pre-double, triple bracer, which BB's going to have to find it. Because if this safe lane doesn't delay Centaur's timing in any way, or at least gets to use Twin Gate to open up other parts of the map when he takes over, then yeah, that's what I'm afraid for BB potentially having a repeat.
They kind of Weaver or Razor, just these skirmishy type. Oh god.
Medusa.
You don't like that one?
No.
Why not?
So like I mentioned, BB Team are very dependent on their big ultis to take these team fights, and Falcons are not at all. So this Medusa's protection on the map, or her ability to farm, is going to be entirely dependent on the rest of her team taking these successful engagements. And if they don't, we're going to see Falcons play the same game as Game 1, where they're just constantly running at your face.
Yeah, and the flip side is, like, if BB gets to that state, like the late stage, the butterfly, the Skadi, holding the high ground, like, it is going to be such a scary base to break. But yeah, the journey there can be really difficult. Like, we don't see Ursa too often, but a hero like that to break down the Doom, the early the support's not really killing off. Like, this type of hero could break the map entirely before Medusa even gets online.
The one here I'm worried Falcons might pick is Wraith King. I don't want them to pick it, but they picked it in the past versus Doom.
Sure.
And it does have a stun with Mirana 5.
How much do you think Falcons care about the scaling of Medusa versus let's just win lane and we know we'll win the game in the first 30 minutes because we have the Centaur, the DK to take over the map?
I don't think you're worried too much about Medusa. She doesn't seem like this crazy late game scaler anymore. It's this 25-30 minutes where if you let her free farm, she'll walk high ground with 2 items. Butterfly Skadi ends the game. So it's more so, do you have good lanes? Do you have this good mid-game tempo? And most like melee carriers or strong carriers can just kind of like right-click her in a fight.
And they tried to answer it instead by not respecting the potential late game of BB by locking in the aggression that they bring. And yes, carry DK, the mid Razor. But yeah, this is a very classic-looking Falcons draft that in history has broken games within 15-20 minutes if they hit their stride.
Does BB Team have a better shot at forcing that later stage of the game compared to previous?
It'll depend on how their first few engagements go. Like we saw in that Game 1, the game broke when that skirmish bottom happened and they lost 4 heroes for Alina. If they can take these good engagements, they have very, very strong team fights. Their team fighting is much better than Falcons, and they can play off of that to get to the point that Gunnar talked about, where Medusa has 2 items. I worry about their ability to win those skirmishes, though, because Falcons have drafted solid lanes, and they got the Malrine Gotcha Razor, which is going to pressure the Storm early on, making it so that GPK can't join these early fights, potentially.
I think the biggest thing is the safe lane for BB Team. If Deuce is able to sit there, be really tanky, and never get dove, give space for both supports, and if there's some really crazy dive where she gets ult off, the supports are level 6, and they defend this tier 1 tower for 12 to 15 minutes, I think it's going to be really good for BB Team.
BB have to bring in the numbers. And it's like, you need to respect the fact that, sure, your heroes maybe don't want to always rotate every time, but they need to. Like, if you see Falcons go for your safe lane tower, I want Doom there, Snap, ET, I want the kitchen sink thrown at the safe lane. Keep your towers alive, because if not, your map will just disappear.
So when a skirmish happens,
everyone goes.
You just want everybody to go in. And it sounds exciting, regardless of the outcome of that. It sounds like we got an exciting game number 2 on our hands. Before we get to the actual game, though, we're going to head over to the stage. Where is Slaxis with Coach Bulk?
Hello, thank you so much, Shiver. Yes, I am here, Amar GTO, our wonderful translator, and of course, Coach Bulk. Hello, welcome back. Now, question for you, after that first game, didn't go the way that you guys were thinking, and some would say this is a pretty greedy draft. We got Dusa, we got Doom, we got Storm. Do you feel that way, that it's a little greedy? How are you going to make sure that this game doesn't end up like the last one?
Первая игра пошла не совсем по плану. Вторая игра, вы пикнули Дузу, Шторма, Дума, и это вот очень жадно. Как вы считаете, вы сможете выиграть эти линии?
Я думаю, да, мы команда, которая хороша на линиях, раз. А во-вторых, мы всегда верим в ГПК Шторма.
Yeah, they think that they're a good laning team, and they believe in GPK Storm.
Who wouldn't? Fantastic. All right, now I got a very serious question for you. Falcons has been your nemesis for a long time. You guys have won games, but you have yet to win a series against them. We're at elimination of TI. You're down a game. It all comes to this. Is this the one? Are we going to see the turnaround? Will you be taking this series? And what did you say to your boys?
Фалконы были вашими заклятыми противниками на протяжении всего времени, и у вас не было победы против них в серии. Сможете ли вы победить? Что ты сказал своим ребятам, чтобы вы смогли их превзойти, и превзойдете ли вы их?
Ну, раз мы здесь оказались, значит, мы уже достойны, и, конечно, у нас есть хорошие шансы на победу. Неважно, сколько раз мы им проиграли, главное, что будет здесь сейчас.
We are already here at the stage, and no matter how many times did we lose, we are here and we will show the best of it.
Fantastic. Well, I sure as heck hope we make it to a Game 3. Let's hear it, my friends! You want a Game 3? All right, fantastic. Well, we'll go ahead and go to the captors and see how this one turns out.
Here we go, getting into the action of Game 2 right now between Falcons and BB Team. Fog, that Game 1, it was a rough one for BB Team. Coming into this, what is sort of the key takeaways and what they've changed up and what they're going to try and take a game off Falcons this time around with?
More team fight in general. I think last one quickly, especially once those first two team fights kind of kicked off, the game was quickly decided. So I think they've, at least on the two support fronts, tried to fix that. Also, not having this quad ranged. They do have the secondary melee this time around, so maybe that'll help them fight a little bit earlier. But overall, I would say just, more team fighting in particular. But maybe it could be a bit of a greedy approach here with the Storm, the Doom, and the Medusa together in this lineup. Can be a little bit cooldown oriented, while on Falcons, it's fast-paced. Tons of nukes. Every single hero has like a double nuke in particular. DK, Hoodwink, Mirana, Centaur, Razor. It's a lot of burst damage.
Yeah, I mean, across the board as well. Is it a similar setup in which BB Team should get a chance to get that early lead once again they got in Game 1, or do you think it's going to be a bit harder this time?
It does feel like it'll be a little bit harder this time, because this time they have this Hoodwink and Centaur, which is a very oppressive lane up top. I think they were pretty oppressive anyway. But overall, I would say, quite a bit harder. Bottom also, this one does feel a little bit safer, I would say, from Falcons, just with Snake playing his very comfortable Mirana. But this is probably the one that I'm going to be looking at. It's always Miro and Save to be able to get these first bloods, so that's probably the one they'll get maybe an advantage in. But I think Falcons, they've drafted stronger lanes this time than last time, and a very strong, stable draft that they're very comfortable with. You can see the Grandmaster tiers and Master tiers across the board on their heroes.
We'll see how because of the mid lane matchup, we obviously got the Marine Razor coming in late on the draft. Up against this Storm, how well can GPK do against this in this 1v1? Obviously nowadays you have the static slide with the Remnant to help you in these range situations, but is the harassment of the Razors just too much?
It is, this is a great lane for the Razor. You can always play great versus Storm because you have that same movement speed, so you're gonna get the links up. It's very difficult as a Storm to prevent a link in pretty much every single scenario, and looking at least across the board of these three lanes right now. So pretty hot from Falcons on the first few waves.
Let's see how well GPK is able to do against this pressure. I mean, the plasma field, the static
might get him here.
One more tick at the static link, he's gone! First blood from Maori, won't be able to keep himself alive, but he won't mind a refuel.
I think he's suicided.
Anyway, indeed, he's happy to go down there. But just going to show that this mid lane matchup, it's not going to be a fun one for GPK.
And it's just a couple denies that really make the difference there. Hits the level 3, immediately pushes forward, gets the bottle. It's pretty much everything hitting synergy at the same exact time for Mary and really pushing the limits of his hero. Hitting level 3, getting the bottle, instant dive onto GPK. Bottom lane is also going. I saw they're getting decent harassment onto Skeeter. Now he's reset back full. Doom has 3 CS.
Oh.
Mero is not getting too much.
But now he's got 4.
Either. Now he's got 4.
Well, indeed, not great on these first few waves. You say something on paper, you don't expect to be that rough for the Doom on the first few waves.
No, not in particular on the CS. Usually you do see Miro get majority of them there, but I guess they were more focused in trying to just push out the harassment. I think they almost used all the regen until Snaking got his second set of tangos, but either way, it's a DK. He's able to self-sustain anyway. So see how they're going to be able to do on those last hits. And top, this is the one that the Medusa is doing a lot better in, but this is a lane where kills can constantly happen.
And overall, how strong is the Deuce this game?
It's okay. The issue is just the Razor kind of... that's going to be his target to link in every single one of these team fights, right? So GPK...
He's going to need some TPs. Yeah, a couple of TPs were threatened there to make sure the Marine doesn't dive in for that.
I'm not too sure about the Deucer, because, yeah...
The chill guys, you know, he saw those TPs come in and he's like, it's going to be a 1v1, you know, why you're adding the extra backup in? I mean, they might still get GPK. They will.
Oh, boy, Owen. They're putting the pressure on him right from the start. Malrine popped off in that last game.
Yep.
And this one already having this beautiful start. And to talk about the Razor, so you were mentioning about the Medusa. The Medusa can look good if she's not getting linked constantly. But this is a lineup that can be kind of difficult to prevent that link. Yes, you'll have Cookie to at least distance a little bit. You have some stuns and everything, but Medusa is very slow.
Yeah, and I feel like the Centaur really adds another issue into the mix for the Medusa, right? You've got that Stampede, so you can very easily choose when you want to get in, keep everyone on top of the Medusa, and when you want to back off and get away during a Stone Gaze.
And this is a game where Amar is going to absolutely free farm. It's a Centaur versus an ET Medusa lane. There's almost no way for them to put pressure on him unless a third, potentially even fourth hero or something comes up.
Pre-level 6, this is not going to be an easy time for GPK.
Hey, Crit.
He's looking to start something here. See if, is there any way GPK can keep himself alive under the tower? I don't think so. There's going to be another plasma field coming in the second as Maori is ready with the next nuke to take him out once more. I don't think he can come back to the mid lane, folks.
To the jungle you go. It does feel like he has to. And this is a really smart play from Crit. He's like, my Centaur is not touch top. He's gotten the Retaliate build, triple bracer even. He can make the moves around to do this. GPK needs help. Stack away. I think Toronto Tokyo has to start getting some of these at the least ready for this Storm Spirit to catch up.
Snaking, he might be able to kill Savior. He's got another leap and a Starstorm in a second.
He should just have him here.
He's playing careful. Doesn't want to dive in, so Save will survive. Actually, maybe turn their efforts towards Mira instead, but he's a little too beefy for the two to take down. So
they're bullying these lanes. These two in particular.
The farm, I mean, we talk about GPK dying in the mid, but continuing from what we saw earlier, this bottom lane, that's where the suffering's the highest. Only 11 CS still on Miro.
He has to buy salves also just to stay down here. He has to buy the raindrop as well. These lanes, they're absolutely getting dominated here from Falcons. Only the Medusa doing well, and we'll see what Saika's going to be able to do to get involved with that, because it's not really usually him with BBT that looks to get involved early on to fix things. It's usually GPK or Miro or one of the supports to kind of bring things back after a potentially bad laning phase. It's usually not Nightfall, usually not Saika for this lineup. So yeah, just defend the stacks. So you see GPK is trying to get that level 6 as fast as possible. Toronto Tokyo is going to soak the mid lane, but you can see Crit and Malrine, they're looking to pressure this tower with this catapult wave and the 6-minute power rune.
Bottom lane. Trying to go aggressive onto Skeeter here. And the two of them have enough burst to take him down. They don't. Skeeter's able to walk it off. Tango over to him, and they just don't have the burst to really 100-0 this DK between the two of them. It's going to take more from BB Team if they want to try and get these early kills in the side lanes.
I do like at least they recognized at least the issue that was going on massively, right? Storm's jungle is catching back up. Toronto Tokyo actually dragged the mid wave, so the first catapult did only 150 damage. So all things considered, a little decent adjustment that they have done for now. Crit, though, is going to be stalking GPK, of course. GPK still not quite 6.
Needs a couple more creep camps to get that 6 online.
So just going to open up opportunities for what Malrine wants to do with this Razor.
Save. Is there any way for him to break away from this? The cookie, it's not going to get him far enough away.
The wisdom rune.
Oh, Malrine's going straight for it, standing to be set for snaking, and the TPs are coming in. So BBT might be able to secure it for themselves. Toronto Tokyo, who's going to get the pick up first?
He gets it.
He does indeed. Toronto Tokyo making sure that doesn't fall into the hands
of Miro.
Falcons, and Malrine just continue to clean up on the map. This is, for someone's debut performance on the main stage at International, it's looking pretty good for Malrine.
He's not feeling the pressure at all. If anything, he's thriving off of it.
He's looking better than ever both of these games.
Absolutely dominating from the start, now making these early rotations. Bottom tower now also getting pressured. They have this catapult down here. It's not level 6 on the DK, but they have to address this as well. And It's a lot of bleeding happening quite early on that they need to address all over the place. On top of a Centaur free farming. Yes, Syka's farming, but the other two lanes are devastating at this point.
That's the thing to think about. 7 minutes into game one, I think we saw what BB Team, they had like a 2k net worth lead, and we saw how rough that game ended up. This time, it's gone the other way. So if they couldn't do it with the early lead they had in game one, what are they going to do here in game two?
It's a good question. Supports need to get levels. That's going to be the thing in particular. I think Save needs to get his level 6 pretty early on. They're going to get involved mid-crit. He should get picked off here.
A little bit of something here for GPK as he tries to get this recovery going. Mallory able to grab the rune in time. He's got an amplified damage rune. They're going to try and get in on top of him.
He's too fast.
I'd say, yeah, Miro still just level 4 on the Doom. Not really a lot to throw out from him right now.
He is so poor, and that experience is definitely problematic for a lineup that's quite greedy. Level 4 Doom.
I mean, it's rough. I guess this sometimes happens. You know, it is the first pick hero. You do expect it to be dealt with. But yeah, something about this Doom hero, right? A lot of teams, they really try and make it work, and it just hasn't been working a lot of the times, Fold.
And overall, this hero does want to play from ahead. You know, the innate ability is all about having higher levels. If you're like the lowest level in the game, you're never going to have this extra damage that you can sometimes kick out, which is necessary. So, yeah, we'll see how they get Nero back into the game, because that's going to be a bit of a rough one, especially since GPK is having a tough one also.
And they might just be able to kill him here. They've got the bushwhack set up, arrow to follow up. Miro he's going to try and get up to the tier 1 tower, but the leap's there from Snaking. He's out of the game, and he's just going to continue to get kept at this incredibly low amount of level and farm at this stage of the game.
This is crazy. This tower's dead. Support's not quite 6 either. Toronto, Tokyo, and Save still haven't hit it, and that's the two big damage dealers on the side of BBT in the early game. Besides that, they don't want to bring the Medusa early. And scary for GPK at this point. Yes, he's gotten a little bit caught back up here, but him getting involved, there's so much chain stun. 4 heroes have a stun for him. So very susceptible to get burst if he does make an over-aggressive play. Amar, the Blade Mail's almost finished on top of having max Retaliate and quad bracers. Damage is definitely going to be an issue again this time for BBT, unless these supports start to get these 6s soon.
See what the move's going to be next. Falcons kind of got their eyes on the mid lane. BB Team do have the 3 of them here.
Skitter is here, level 7.
So look at the setup with the bushwhack. Can't quite get in with the follow-up angle for a stun. So GPK will be able to break out of it. Maybe fight back, jumps in over towards Snaking. Snaking's able to get the leap off. They didn't have the damage to kill the Mirana. Now BB Team have to be careful, keep their distance.
Malrine gets the RNG. We'll be able to get that haste rune. An Ogre Club already on him, or Ogre Axe already on him. 1700 HP on strength charts. He's going to look for aggressive plays.
He certainly is. Malrine, he's tempted to start diving around this tier 2. He'll hold back.
I mean, Miro is still only level 5 on the Doom. I was like, oh, the only potential for them to really go for Malrine is if the Doom TP's over and Dooms him, but he's still level 5 at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Another tower to fall. They can't hang on to these towers because the level 6s and these lanes have just gone so poorly. These towers, losing them this early with a Medusa lineup and this type of greed, it's devastating.
If they catch Miro out here again, his game's going to get very close to being irrecoverable.
It's almost already at that point, it feels like.
Malrine, he's ready to dance around him here with the static. He won't dive the tier 2 again, though. He's given the respect for the potential backup to be there for BB Team, so Miro will live.
This might be the roughest start I've seen from Miro this tournament, actually. Bottom 4 net worth. 2 supports on the side of Falcons already soon to surpass him. And I've just seen Amar do this entire time. He's just dragging waves, maximizing his farm. Yes, Syka's getting farm, but it's not actually at the same pace that the Centaur or the Razor that have been able to do so.
Can this Medusa solo carry a game in this day and age and in this patch?
I don't think 4 Protect 1s have really been looking too much like the dominant strategy lately, but we'll have to see if Syka can do it. They're going to smoke GPK. They have level 6 on save. Now they actually have damage to follow up with the pull.
And they do have the 6 on Miro now.
Okay. Can they find one of these big kills? Malrine in particular would be the best one that they can find, because he is approaching a BKB, which would kind of stop their aggression if they do try to save.
Should find a quick and easy one here. Snaking will take that.
I mean, they actually have to find Malrine before BKB. If they make the move and Malrine has BKB, he might just pop in and be able to turn pretty much everything onto them. So losing save there definitely hurts a little bit of that potential momentum that they could have started going for there. 6k lead up onto Falcons.
That's a crazy advantage. They've played everything perfectly.
And Skater just goes blink. You know, he knows he can be really aggressive to get the catch onto GPK. He's got the follow-up. If he gets the stun, it's very like
Dragon's out. They've got the angle with the arrow. Do they have the burst? The bushwhack, the sharp shot? They certainly do. GPK dead again.
Oh boy. It's too fast-paced. The items are coming out too quick. It's 12 minutes in, Owen. They've got great vision control as well around this area, and with some sneaky wards. Look at this one that they placed right there. I don't think I've seen that one too often, right above crit. So they'll be able to see at least movements that come down, and that one's not going to get dewarded.
Absolutely, that one's going to be there the full duration, 100%.
So whenever you've already gotten the mid tower and the bottom tower, so that's like the avenue to be able to get into these ancients and stuff like that. So they're going to keep tabs of pretty much everything. Slight pause here.
I mean, what is the game plan for BBT? It's got to be looking towards Psyker on the carry, just saying, you know what, guys, Deuce is farming.
I think at this point you might have to start like, I think Gunnar was saying it too, is like this drum build on the Doom is something that people have looked for, but maybe Miro wants to go for just his recovery, this Midas and stuff, but I feel like you're starting to get to the point where you may want to put all your eggs into the Deuce basket. Like the Solar Crest, the drums, throw everything possible to amp her up. I just don't know if she can do it on her own. Versus the Stampede to close the gap with the Razor Link. Right? It's just difficult to say.
You can really buff the Medusa up and have them ready to defend on the high ground when these pushes come in from Falcons. But yeah, Falcons, they're just going to dive in.
Yeah.
Get on top of the Medusa. They're able to stay on top of Psyker with the Static Link from Maureen. Sure, the Medusa might take a bit of time to take down, but there's not going to be any damage coming out from BBT.
That's the biggest thing, is like, where's the damage really going to come from? Especially once Amar is able to get this pipe, and he's getting closer and closer. He is farming up a storm. It's been an absolutely free game for the Centaur, nearly level 11. 2,300, they would have to throw literally everything onto him to kill him. And it might not even work out. He's going to go Blink instead to get more aggressive.
Psyker's got to be careful as well, because Falcons know that Psyker's been farming around this area. So if they show themselves at all, Falcons will go straight for them. Quick TP is indeed down to the bottom lane. Try and make a move here instead. BB team, they've got the smokes up, but they're moving towards top. We'll see the Stampede coming in as they look to catch out Miro, and with that jump stun, they'll find the opening, but they won't get the follow-up. The timing not quite there, so Miro able to break away from the combo.
All right, let's see if they can get the Centaur with percent-based damage. If he was maybe further up, perhaps, but not the easiest kill whatsoever. How many TPs are available on the side of Falcons too? They've got two. So if they do see this play happen,
do this? It feels risky.
They're going to lose a lot of HP potentially going for this. Let's see. Amar.
He's already out. They're going to continue to try and jump in. They've got the kisses coming in.
The splitter's not hitting. He's alive.
He's able to indeed dodge the splitter and now ready for the turnaround. The stomp's not going to connect either. BB team, they try and make something happen, but it's not going smoothly. They've got Psyker moving over as well, as they're desperately trying to find some sort of kill, but they're able to jump the stun onto the three of them there. The cookie comes out. Can they actually get a kill? They'll bring Skeeter down.
That's one.
Amar is getting low, but they're dying in return. They've lost two of the BB team. Psyker's going for the TP out. They've got nothing to stop it. So Psyker will get away. GPK. He's been found in the trees. Amar hunts him down. BB team, they came for him, but the backup, the turnaround was there. They get Skeeter. It's something, but it's costing them 3 heroes, and they're just not killing Amar.
No. And I mean, even if the splitter lands, potentially not getting him either. They had to hit absolutely every kiss and the splitter onto this tanky Centaur. He saw it coming. Yeah, Psyker even having to get involved. And now at this point, Maureen does have the BKB. So before you were able to find him once, he's going to be able to pretty much BKB and just link right past to find the Deuce in a lot of these situations. This game is
check this again.
Very difficult for BBT.
They really went for this. But you see Amar keeping his cool, seeing that splitter coming in straight away.
He felt no fear. He felt absolutely no fear.
He was running back in.
He was high-fiving before every spell was even thrown out.
And we see here they surround Skeeter, but of course this gives a beautiful angle for Amar to just come in with this 3-man hoof stomp. And a bit of a miracle, if not anything else, that BB team actually got a kill out of this.
And they get the Wisdom Rune too. I think if that Stone Gate didn't connect, they all just die and get no kills at all. But this is kind of how they have to play. I think they have to hug GPK with the 2 supports like this and just hope for the best that there's going to be recovery for the Deuce and the Doom. Because if they look to play slow, and if they just slow down too much with these 3, it feels like Falcons is going to scale Tricore. So I want to see these, honestly, continue to be active. Maybe not look for the Centaur in particular this next time, but who do you go for now that the Razor has the BKB? Because that was the other one you wanted to get pre-BKB, but now the Maureen has it. If you don't get the instant chain stun, he's going to be able to survive. Crit! Should be fine up here.
I guess that's the thing as well, they just don't have much chain stun to offer up.
And Miro again.
The angle's there this time round for the arrow to hit. No problem after the Dragon Tail stun.
Oh, this is rough. Similar to the last game, but I mean more Stompy in particular, because the laning phase was just an absolute one-sided affair this time from Falcons. And Skinner even getting closer and closer to an Orchid, so they're getting more and more answers for GPK. Already has to deal with 4 different heroes with stuns.
I guess that the good news for BB Team, that at least this time round, that the hero that is very farmed is the Medusa, rather than a Nature's Prophet.
Very true.
If there was a hero out of the two that's more likely to have a chance of carrying a game in a comeback, it would be Medusa. He's going to be found by the Who Stomp, and the Dragon Tail's there to follow it up. The Stomp will come out, but not in time to save GPK as Falcons find another.
Snake,
the angle. Whoa! He's going to get the connection there along the tree line. Amar's got Blink up in a second, closes the gap. As indeed, off the back of that, a lovely connection from Snaking, they'll get themselves another one. Falcons, 14-4, 9k lead, and we're just 17 minutes in.
Yeah, I would say that the one thing that you're mentioning, though, is like, yes, the one good news you could say for BBT is that their draft is more about scaling toward that later game. In that last draft, it was more about just snowballing everything out of control. So this one, it can scale. Just with this type of deficit on the Doom and Storm, it's hard to see that the Deuce is able to do it on her own. And there's just so much stun, too. Sometimes the Deuce can do better because you're not playing versus so much chain stun and so many anti-carry, but it is a lot of control, so.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of build GPK goes as well, having to kind of play this
Have to go BKB.
I feel like his best use might just be to get the BKB and then just go for the Ags. You know, have some sort of setup that's going to enable the Medusa in these team fights. Because when you're this sort of far behind as a mid-storm, it feels very unlikely you're ever going to be able to do anything offensive on your own.
I agree. GPK could be in trouble again. The arrow.
I hit this combo every single time.
It's so easy for them with this type of chain stun, right? One hero shows they have a plethora of ways to follow up with it. BBT's it's a lot harder to execute, a lot more greedy, and Falcons is just taking advantage of it on every single one of these fronts. We see the glyph come out, the ET innate, of course, coming into play. Lots of damage from it, but yeah, they don't really care.
I mean, I guess the question is as well for BB Team, how early can you fit the Divine Rapier on your shopping list if you're Psyker?
You need I mean, maybe after the Butterfly, but that's still, it's craziness. This is usually when the Medusa hits the power spike. It's the Butterfly Manta timing, and then you're able to kind of group up around her, but they're at such a deficit. And it's not like their draft is all physical damage either. It's a ton of magical. It's a ton of just everything across the board. Skitter, Orchids at the ready. And they've got this deep vision down already. Again, too, I mean, sneaky wards. Another kind of sneaky one that Falcons placed that might not also get dewarded. They're keeping tabs of BBT completely. Amar?
Gonna try and make the jump on him, but he gets the blade off in time, and GPK? He's pretty much jumped in immediately to his death. They will kill off Amar. They're gonna get Skeeter as well by looking at it with kisses. So BB Team, they'll absolutely trade GPK for that one. They get 2 big kills in return.
He might just have to be the sacrificial lamb in every single one of these plays.
If they could do that play again, it's gonna be brilliant for them. The problem now is they've split back up, and Psyker is being watched here by Snaking and Mallory. Get him with the jump.
Body
He's
blocks.
coming over, indeed. They're controlling him. The Static Link's building up. Save, trying to break him away with the cookie. But Mallory's ready to dive with the BKB. The mana's gone. Psyker's out. Save, also likely to fall. Mallory is falling very low himself. But there's just no one else on BB Team here to punish it. So whilst they do get that 2-for-1 in the mid, it very quickly continues to keep going the way of Falcons as Falcons are able to dive in and find Psyker +1.
Yeah, they have this deep vision, so they see when everybody's split up almost immediately, and they don't slow down. They look to make that aggressive play. The highest damage I think so far that we saw is BB, that glyph, by the way. That's the ET innate that actually was almost bringing down Malvern. It was actually quite significant there. But ends up surviving again, and they do find that big pickup before the Butterfly is finished off.
And the thing is, they were able to make that play at a point where Amar had a lot of his net worth up in the courier. He just got the completed pipe delivered out.
Oh my goodness.
So this was without the pipe in the equation. Now there is a full pipe on the Centaur.
He could just
Unlikely
survive.
You're going to be able to kill him and Skeeter on the DK next time around in that sort of situation with the kisses.
Oh, look at top 2. They have that deep ward that we were talking about from earlier. GPK could be in trouble again. They're getting the full surround.
GPK.
Oh, he spotted him.
Amar knows where he is. There's a little bit more mana to play with. In fact, GPK is going to try and get a kill out of this, but the pipe's out from Amar. He can keep Crypt perfectly safe. GPK cut down once more by Amar with a double edge.
It's been a long time since I've seen these type of games with the mid laner having about half of the deaths of the team. They are putting all the pressure onto poor GPK. 9 of the 19. So they are set up to potentially get the 2 Wisdom runes, though. So at least one thing going their way here. And Psyker is getting closer and closer toward the Butterfly. Level 15's been hit.
Okay.
But it's just him. It really is.
It really is.
Him.
If Psyker manages to successfully carry this game, it's going to be one of the greatest carry performances of all time.
Yep. does feel like that.
It's going to have to be. Now you get the jump. They're ready to catch the mirrors. BB team try and retreat back to the base, but Save is caught outside of it. Falcons, they'll take the Tormentor.
Like if this Medusa, if Psycho was playing like versus this lineup that didn't have this anti-carry Razor or something like that, perhaps I could see more of it. Just there's so much. It's not even just the Razor. I do have to factor in the other thing as well too. Is Breathe Fire. You can never really factor down these anti-kind of carry mechanics that just reduce damage. These things add up in these type of lineups when you are limited on damage already.
For sure. I mean, it feels like the cookie is not going to be enough. We need to see some like Force Staffs.
Force Staffs for sure.
They've got to get some Force Staffs. If they can sort of set up a fight in which Falcons commit and get the static link onto Cycler and then they're able to break him away, then maybe they can turn around a high ground defense.
Yeah.
But they need these items, and it's going to take a lot of time because at the moment they're just not finding anywhere close to the same amount of resources from the map as Falcons are.
Yeah, Solar Crest, Force Staffs, just try to get anything that you can to amplify him, but yeah, the farm is just coming slow from them. They're not really getting these items built up, and at this point, now 12k lead, the supports on the side of Falcons are actually getting these items so much faster too. Crit, Force Staff plus Solar Crest done, Snaking, he's got the drum, shard, and his bracers, even 2k gold, so can look for maybe another Solar Crest or Vlad's, whatever he wants to go for. Just across the board getting too much. The supports are soon to surpass 2 of the cores. We could see 5 of the top 6 net worths be out for Falcons soon if another fight goes their way. They've got a timing though. Butterfly has been finished on Psycho. They have to play around it.
And we are seeing in the team fights, Psycho only dying the once when he was caught on his own. Outside of that, he is doing a fair bit of damage. The damage is coming out with the Deuce, especially now, I should say, next time around with this Butterfly being shown as well. And yeah, also just because of that static link, I guess he can't afford to go for anything other than the Hurricane Pike himself, just so he has that extra range and ability to break away from Mallory's attempts to get on top of him in the team fights.
Hey, it makes sense.
And then after that, maybe we'll see something spicy, if they can hold the game out that long.
Yeah. Because looking at the supports, right, you have like almost Greaves on save, but nobody else is really close to that force, so can see why he wants to accelerate it. And Falcons, after commandingly pressuring pretty much the entirety of this game, now they can kind of slow down, finish up a couple of these extra items.
Now, wouldn't even be surprised if we see Psyche get the 4-staff component of it first.
I think so. I was thinking the same thing, to be honest.
I wouldn't mind it, especially on a Deuce. You do stuff with the mana, it feels good.
He just needs to he needs to have as much damage as possible. He needs to not get linked, and needs to not get breed fired.
Yep.
It's tough for him. It really is.
Yeah, Toronto's going to be trying to get that Lotus on for him. Definitely going to be another way to deal with the big threats from Falcons.
I mean, that's optimistic. You know, it's quite expensive, so it does mean that they want to play for just slowing down the pace much more. They do have a lineup that can slow things down with ET overall on the high ground and everything, but...
I mean, that's the thing right now. Falcons, they have this 14k lead, but we've not really seen them show any indication of trying to hit the high ground yet.
They probably don't... I mean, maybe they just don't feel that pressure, because it is a 4 Protect 1 at this point on the side of BBT.
And top Skeeter. Another quick jump and quick kill. They get saved. GPK this time round should be far enough away to make it out without any interruption.
Yeah, I think that they're not afraid about this Medusa. Just because they do have this triple scaling cores. And the supports, as we said, you know, they're likely to get the 5 of the top 6 net worths. Mirana has now surpassed the Storm and surpassed the Doom. That's the 5 position.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing as well, right? Mirana and Hoodwink. These supports both do incredible scaling physical damage output.
And you can imagine that Snaking's going to go, perhaps going to start being able to spill down that way. Level 15's been hit. He's got the leap attack speed. You can never really write off these damaging supports with Solar Flare.
See Falcons. I mean, the question is this the lineup from Falcons that you expect to see look towards the Roshan pit anytime soon, or?
I think the world's their oyster. I think they can kind of do whatever they want right now, just in terms of map control, because they have vision as well that's been very sneaky. I have to commend Snaking, because I've seen, I think, 3 or 4 wards now in the last 2 games that we haven't seen too many throughout this tournament, so they're just keeping tabs of BBT nicely, so I think they can pick and choose what they want to do. Now that it's shifted top, they're probably going to go for this Roche. But yeah, they just have options open.
And incredibly unlikely the BB team's going to even attempt to make any moves over there. They'll just try and take the most out of the fact of the map being left vacant by Falcons spending time in the pit.
Yeah, they're just trying to finish up one of these next few items, these next things to amplify and buff up the Deuce, but Falcons going to accelerate things massively here in these next few moments.
They will. This is definitely going to be the key for them to, if they want to, break the high ground. They got the Aegis, they've got the full Crimson now on top of the pipe on Amar. They're ready to go.
Yeah, I have to keep checking all these couriers because everybody just is so rich. They're getting so many of these. Yeah, Gem now on Snake too to control vision.
And yeah, GPK's got his BKB, and yeah, I like this. Ags queued
Straight
up
to
next.
Ags. He needs it. I mean, he needs to just play. They're playing for Protect 1. He is not a carry at this point. It is all about the Medusa's game.
And the Ags is going to be big, because there is that huge wombo combo.
It's very far,
I mean, it is very far. They need a good sort of, 5 or 6 more minutes of this game. And obviously with this 4 minutes on the Aegis from Falcons, highly likely that Falcons might get a lot done in this upcoming 4 minutes.
Yeah, they've got the lanes pushed into, they've got mid and top pushed out, and they have this ward bottom that's been watching Saika the entire time farming. See where they look to hit.
Still a tier 2 to take down on the bottom lane for Falcons.
Imagine that's probably where they're going to end to go now next. As Amar, the Crimson Garden also, so talking about all these damage mitigations and stuff like that for Medusa, her damage is not that explosive, especially not to Crimson right now. It's all about that next item. They're going to look for a smoke. They're going to try to be sneaky here.
This is risky, especially if it's going to be Skeeter that kind of catches the brunt of the attack with the Aegis on him. What do BB team want to do about this? They've got eyes on Skeeter.
They lose their ward, so not going to be able to see the back lines. They're going to look for
it's a deep wrap
very
around
deep
here.
wrap.
Can Toronto, Tokyo, or GPK find some sort of setup? They go, again, Skeeter's not the one they want first. The timer's ticking, the smoke running out. It's kind of awkward now for BB team.
They see the mid lane pushing in. The fact that nobody's showing there, they know that there's this move happening.
Amar is ready to scout this out. They're going to try and go on him. They're going to drop the Doom down, see if they can kill off the Centaur. It's a lot of damage. It should be enough. They've got him. Can they get anything more though? Mirror's been jumped in response.
Saika's in trouble.
Take him out. Yeah, Saika taking huge amounts of damage, but they get the shakes down onto Snakey. They found a second. Marin's got to break away, keep his distance.
They got a gem. This is pretty big so far.
But Toronto Tokyo's going to get caught on the way out. So the gem will return into the hands of Falcons. It's not a bad effort from BB team. They choose to fight into the Aegis, and they do get a 2-for-2 trade. Which when you're down as far as they are right now in the net worth, you probably take that.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, they were able to get this. The Stone Gaze in particular kind of stopped Maureen from being able to full commit onto this Medusa, so not bad. One step of many. I mean, you're still at a huge deficit, of course, but you're going to get a big kill, big surge of experience from taking out this level 18 Centaur.
And it did look risky at the start. I mean, we saw sort of how quickly Saika's mana pool just got shredded by the damage output.
I think did he get like I think he had either a big snake or somebody passed him like a Lotus or something, because he got a pretty decent restore afterwards. It was the Greaves. Didn't quite get to see. All right, best fight we've seen from them so far in this series, let's be honest with you. Get a 2 trade here, and level 20 now up on the Dusa. Good experience. So the Stone Gaze duration is actually pretty relevant now.
And we are seeing, this time round, if they get the jump onto Amar, they can kill this Centaur.
You have to use everything.
Sure, it takes a lot, but it's proving to not be the worst way to start a fight.
But now cooldowns, 40 seconds on Doom. BBT is quite cooldown reliant to be able to pop those heroes, so Falcons looking to take advantage of those now for the moment. But BBT, as soon as those cooldowns are up again, they could look to go for this fight if they can find a nice type of wraparound like that again. Of course, they lost their vision, and they were not able to recover that gem. But if they can get vision down, if they can look for these type of flank rounds, if they can throw the kitchen sink onto one target, they can kill them.
Our next fight round, Skeeter, especially taking this tower down, should have the money to get the AC out to him. But only a minute or so left on the Aegis.
They actually still have the sword on the high ground. Around the triangle, so sneaky little placement. Could be important for them to get a wrap. Skeeter low, accelerating things more. As you said, 60 seconds on this Aegis, wants to force as much as possible.
Yeah, AC on the courier. They're going to try for the jump mirror, look for the backline. He gives his chance. Does get the Doom out, but indeed the Stampede was already there. They just turn and tear through Miro.
Oh, no.
He's out for 50.
That is not the initiation they wanted at all.
And the push now, it will continue from Falcon. Skeeter. He's going to look for the jump in. He's going to get the Dragon Tail, so they're trying to use the cookie to keep Toronto Tokyo safe. They'll be able to keep him alive. Now GPK able to turn, get the Vortex back onto Skeeter. Syke, has he got enough damage to take him out once they have?
That's the Aegis.
The Aegis gone. Having to do this 4 versus 5 though, BB team. Still 30 seconds without Miro, and even when he's up, they don't have the Doom.
They still have the other ults though. Stone Gaze plus Kisses plus ET Splitter is at the ready. Falcons, they will respect it. Back up, finish off the Satanic for the Razor. And take out that ward that was placed there from earlier. They knew because of the way the Miro jumped that some type of vision was there, even though it wasn't the greatest type of initiation ever. And now no Doom, 80 seconds when they do respawn. Saika has found that 1 damage item though, on his way toward the next. Is the top net worth?
I mean, without a doubt, considering how far they are behind in net worth. They're still definitely giving quite the fight here, BB team.
Yeah, especially when it comes to these high ground pushes. That's pretty much where they thrive, if they can get some type of dream connection with these stone gaze and stuff like that. But again, gonna keep reiterating, looking at the net worth, it really is just the Dusa versus the world, and those two supports about to surpass the mid and the offlane, even Crit. He's starting to get scaling items too. The Atos, the Gleipnir, it's starting to get queued up onto this Hoodwink as well. Snaking also has a BKB on this Mirana soon.
Tormentor once again. There's going to be Falcons.
Skitter gets a freebie.
GPK halfway towards the Aghanims.
Getting closer and closer. It's all about that big wombo combo. If they can just have them all inside. I mean, it's going to have to just be some type of stone gaze that catches onto 3-4 heroes for him to do the damage still. Gold lead continues to grow.
Psycho should have the full Daedalus ready for the next defense. 100 gold away, and pretty much going to have it with this next wave as he pushes out.
And how close is Tokyo to his Lotus? Okay, still a bit away, but if they can even get some type of Lotus play onto a Link, it could be huge. Still needs some time, of course, but...
Amplified damage rune in the bottle, full Marine on the next push forward, and as you say, with the Satanic on top of the BKB, they've got multiple ways that they can absolutely charge in onto the high ground, and BB team, they're going to have so many kind of threats to deal with. Their team fight execution has to be completely flawless from BB team at this point on the defense.
They have to pop a target almost instantly with the Doom, and then they have to play this kind of 4v5 scenario and hope that this Medusa can get this good positioning for the Stone Gaze and everything. They're playing around this high ground again, so looking to perhaps catch Falcons off guard.
I mean, do you think, is it a bit of a surprise or a concern for Falcons that because of the support build, they don't have anything like a Lotus to try and deal with the threat of the Doom? Or does that not matter? Or is that a part of the game where the greed could hit them a little bit hard?
I think that they're probably just feeling comfortable because they know how much gold that they're getting on the map. You know that BBT's just been trapped inside the base for the majority of the time, so they probably just think they can outscale, but maybe we will see at least one of those picked up.
GPK, he's going to be able to poke out the BKB from Snaking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the full Lotus done on BB team side of things. Toronto Tokyo is going to have that ready to play in the next team fight. He can get that down onto Psyker. Should be able to really enable this Medusa to get a lot done in the team fight.
This is sneaky. Someone has to be careful. They're going to show. Rax dies super fast at this AC. But no more creeps. So it's just a range Rax that gets taken out.
And they can hold back. Wait for the next Roche if they want to.
I just keep checking Psycho's items, just waiting to see when he's going to queue up the potential Rapier. Doesn't need it just yet. Scotty's going to be very effective versus the enemy lineup too, if he's able to get it, if they can keep slowing things down.
Let's have a look here. Roshan. It's going to be a shorter respawn. 45 seconds until it's back up. Miro farming pretty deep down here. Unlikely to get found by Falcons.
The safest place is the scariest place at this point for them. They have to take these type of risks to find any farm on the map.
Now, the question is, if BB team, do you think they feel strong enough to try and tackle the next Roche fight?
That feels a bit dangerous because you don't really have vision. If they could have gotten a ward out there perhaps beforehand, then maybe, but I think going out there blind is quite a risk because that's you're making the call that this could be our last fight.
Sure. And I think as you say, the high ground
Their high ground is strong.
It is indeed where they're feeling pretty good, and they dealt with the Aegis push last time around. Sure, at the end of it all, they still ended up losing a melee Rax. But again, considering how far Falcons are ahead, and that's all they got with this lead and with that Aegis push, I think, yeah, BB team's going to be telling themselves, let's just wait for them to come to us.
Just wait for high ground. Yeah, you kind of have to at this point. You have to play for them like around these type of cluttered areas where you can potentially land like a 3-man splitter or something with these pulls, and they do want to buy time like you were mentioning until GPK does have this Aghanims finished. And he is very close, right? He's 500 away from it, so if they can get like the perfect synergy of everything just combining together, maybe there's still that chance for this Medusa. It's still a tall task, but she is the top net worth, which is all important.
Yeah, pretty impressive that amongst all the chaos, Psycho's been able to stay at that position.
Only one death. And somehow also, GPK has stopped dying, right? I think it was, when was the last time actually that he did die? I don't know, it's been felt like what, 16 minutes or something since he's died? Can't really remember the exact timing, but he had 9 deaths pretty early in this game and he has stopped at the least on that. They're gonna buy out. So Psycho does spend the gold to get the BKB. They spend all their gold.
Okay. It's going to be a hard high ground siege for Falcons, and which is a funny thing to say when they have this much lead in gold. and they should have this next stages. They're going to start on the Roshan. BB team looks like they do want to try and take the fight out here.
Okay, I mean, they spent their gold for it. Falcons do stop hitting that Rosh for a moment. They also spent quite a bit of their gold, if I'm not mistaken. I saw Mari did finish up a BKB before everything. Now they're going to start to continue threatening it. It dies fast.
BB team, I don't think they're going to feel they can swing across, especially taking the Watcher. They know that Falcons knows that they would be coming over towards this part of the map. So it looks like if anything, they may consider setting up around this high ground and try and catch them before they make it to the base.
This is a risky move if they do go for it, though, because they don't know exactly that there maybe is no vision there. There could be like some sneaky ward. Let's see if they do look for the jump. I mean, GPK, he's got the Arcane Rune. He wants to get some type of dream 3-4-man pull.
It's risky.
It's very risky. And they'll show the illusion. So now at this point, Falcons, they already were playing careful. Look at them playing on the top side. They were avoiding that walk up the hill anyway.
I mean, they're still holding on here. Just in case Falcons let anyone drift away up to the high ground on their own.
They're waiting for someone to show on the map and then potentially maybe look to catch if they see them split up.
I mean, maybe it's also just the threat of them being there, right? They know that it's unlikely Falcons are going to walk into a bad fight, but they also know that if BB team are sat on this high ground, they reveal it with the illusions, Falcons, they're not going to immediately come in with a push on this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, they can just go back and finish up these next few items because they are getting closer to some big ones. I mean, I've been waiting for Crit to reveal which one he goes for, by the way, because he's had the Gleipnir queued up for quite some time, but hasn't quite committed for it if we do want to see like a defensive one for him. And the Rapier does get queued up from Psycha, so he is still feeling like he does need that explosive carry potential.
Medusa with a Rapier this game does sound kind of terrifying.
Pretty spicy, especially if he's able to hit 25. If we're able to see that split shot use modifiers with the Daedalus and Rapier, definitely still that chance.
I mean, still though, you know, Falcons, they seem very relaxed.
They do. They seem very comfortable with just waiting to go for the later stages. BBT playing around this vision.
Do they want to jump Skeeter? GPK's thinking about it.
Oh, GPK got a Timeless Relic also, by the way. So he pretty much got the best things he could have gotten for the situation that they're put in.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. I mean, with the Timeless Relic, right, you're pretty much guaranteed to have enough time with the Vortexes to set up for the Elder Titan to get in position, the Stone Gaze as well, the Stomps, Earth Splitters. It's a lot of wombo combo potential from BB team, but they have to land it perfectly because of how far ahead Falcons are.
Marine, Refresher has been purchased, so insane amount of damage now on this Razor. GPK, jump on two.
They're making the Vortex onto the two. They can see Thomas getting in with the jump. The Dragon Tail starts straight away. GPK taking the BKB off. He zips away. GPK survives.
Psycha's stunned though. The arrow connected on him.
The Sharpshooter comes in as well. Lotus has been thrown down upon him though. Cooking out to the side. Mira's going to make the jump in over towards the Razor. Gets the Doom down onto him. Amar leading forward. Psycha trying to stand his ground and fight back. He's doing a lot of damage here on the Medusa. Bring is snaking down low. Can't stick around any longer though. The BKB's about to wear off.
He's running low on mana.
Ogre Seal totems away.
Psycha.
Falcons, they're going to look to certainly chase it. The Plasma Field won't catch on. And they don't want to throw themselves into the high ground yet. So Psycha will get them space to head back.
The stun again.
GPK, he's not going to get the same chance though. The stun into the silence. They've caught it. The cookie. He's not going to save it.
The Orchid Bird. It's too
out.
much.
70 seconds. No buyback on GPK.
They used absolutely everything there to kill a target. They didn't kill anybody on the side of Falcons. Able to reset, sustain, Refresher still at the ready for Malrine, so he can use it if he wants to, and he still has his Eyes of Storm ready in 5 seconds or so.
Yeah, still 2 minutes left on the Aegis for Skeeter. The push coming in once more, tier 3 down in the mid lane. Skeeter, able to lean onto Psycha though. She used the cookie.
They used the cookie on the illusion.
Got the force back onto Psycha. Will keep him at a safe distance from Falcons.
That was a risky cookie. Gotta save those to be able to reposition the Medusa as much as possible. But it will push Falcons at least back for the moment. But DK Dragon Form's about to be ready again. They've almost got BKBs at the ready on the Razor as well. And Doom is going to be on cooldown for 50 seconds. Falcons will back up, look to farm up a little bit more. They're content with keeping this one going. It feels like they know that they've got the scaling going. Even though in that last fight too, the Link was actually reflected from the Lotus Orb. You could see that it still wasn't enough for BBT to look to turn to fight with this Medusa.
And Falcons there, ready and set up in case BB team do start to try and look for these sneaky smoke plays coming out of the base.
And they've got everything at the ready. Gleipnir now finished up onto the Hoodwink, so we see GPK fall into the bottom 3.
Snake King's ready to start work on his Satanic.
Oh, well, look, that'll be a pretty interesting one for him, but sure, why not? And the push commences. Doom, 5 seconds until it does come back up. BKB's at the ready on the side of Falcons.
With the jump. Straight away going to start off the action on towards Psycho. They get the silence in as well. Quick Manta to remove it. Illusions will block the arrow. Falcons, they'll hold back. So full Bloodthorn next time round. That Skeeter's going to be ready to slam down on these heroes.
He's just trying to force this type of reaction. If they can force the Medusa to use a BKB, then Psycho it's very difficult for him to fight.
I mean, if BB Team can hold on for just a few more waves coming in, Psycho is going to get very close to this Divine Rapier dream.
He needs both timings, though. I think he needs the Rapier and that 25, it does feel like. Yes, he's going to be able to do decent damage single when he's got that Rapier, if he does get it, but feels like he does need that explosive damage on everybody. Because it really is him versus the world.
Well, check the time. Torment is up again.
Perfect timing, and Aegis reclaimed, so Skeeter doesn't even lose HP during it. As I think Snaking did commit for it, by the way.
He did. He's getting that
committed for the Satanic.
He's getting that Satanic online.
Not too often you see these supports get it. I think the last time I saw support get a Satanic was like a Hoodwink, I think, getting one in some crazy game. I think it was Boxy at some point in some tournament, but this is not something you see too often. But he's wanting to scale. Again, level 20's been hit now for him too. So that crit is online. And same thing for, crit as well too. He is online, so pretty much 5 cores that Falcons have been able to build up.
Yeah, 30k lead pretty much coming up on the numbers here from Falcons. They're enjoying this.
The Rapier's purchased, Owen.
Oh, here we go. Okay. I mean, can Psycho turn this game around? Here, on the TI main stage, it's where it counts the most. The BB Team, they've never been able to take a series against Falcons.
Can you imagine if this will be the way that they do it, off of a Rapier purchase?
Or this may just be the end of the game.
Or it
We're
could
going to
be the
find
end
out
of the game. We'll
here.
have to see.
The smoke's coming out. They're ready for the setup. Mosquito's out with the blink. GPK.
Done too.
He's going to get the opening in. Straight away to raise the gun. Lay down the Doom as well. Snaking. He gets shredded completely. They're able to take down Omar as well. Now they can look over towards Marine. It's a great start to the comeback here. Potential for BB Team. As they storm outside of the base, they take out 3 heroes. They're dead for a long time, folks.
They are. I mean, GPK found the perfect 2 targets, and they got the Doom onto Malrine. The ideal situation for them.
Oh.
And level 25, it's about to hit as well.
I mean, for the sake of the pubs out there and support Mirana's farming Satanics, maybe it will be a good thing if a comeback does happen. Can they do it with this Rapier Medusa? And the 25, as you say, he's basically got it.
Basically there.
Basically got it.
The important thing is, too, now at this point, when you're able to get these type of kills, these sequences,
check this out again.
Their respawns are long, so Doom and everything comes back up as they respawn.
And as we're saying here, if they don't deal with the Medusa, Psycho, he'll kill them. They will all die.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the perfect jump. You couldn't ask for a better one there from GPK or from Yarrow. Even though there's that 22,000 lead.
I mean, could
got
it be
the damage
that,
on the Dusa.
Yeah, Falcons, maybe they were just a little too relaxed this game. Because BB Team, they're getting the chance to get back into it, absolutely, around this Medusa. And in a style, as you say, that just hasn't been doing too well. The 4 protect 1.
But look at the itemization that they've gone for, too, with it, right? So Vlad's also on save. It's everything about throwing onto Psyche at this point. What is GPK queuing? I'm almost thinking, can he just go down like a refresher route on the Storm?
I wouldn't
Feels
mind
like a double pull. Yep. All he really has to do is set up for the Doom or for this Medusa to get in position to get these type of plays. He's got the damage. Miro, he does have a refresher also finished up too, so they will have that secondary round of them. And so far, I'm just clicking around. No Lincolns, no Lotuses purchased for the side of Falcons. And I'm clicking on Snaking, and I'm seeing the Satanic.
He's getting a Hurricane Pike. At least he's getting a Hurricane Pike.
Yeah, but
it gives you 4 stuff. It's going to help a little bit.
I definitely feel like that Satanic could have been like a Lincoln's for him, because it feels very greedy from him in particular. But
I mean, let's see.
Let's see how the next fight
Falcons
goes.
are able to just end the game now, as they're coming in with the smoke. And of course, being a 4 protect 1, if they kill this Medusa, it should be game over. He does have buyback available, but of course that will be without that Rapier.
But Falcons, they're the ones wanting to start a fight, because if BBT is able to just get the starting of the fights a lot of times, they can delete heroes.
Oh, BB Team.
They're reading the movement.
And a bit of a spooky location here.
They've got
a Falcons might not quite expect.
They saw the ward placed in their base. They have a sentry down, so they saw that Falcons were sneaking.
They're going to try and jump Marine. They're straight away to get the Doom down onto Marine. He's getting shredded.
The car
comes in with the car. He's ready to wheel Marine back out to safety. Amar with the Aghanim save. Now they're ready for the turn in, Falcons. They go straight towards Miro. They take down the Doom, but Psycho, he'll take Snaking out in return.
Miro spent his gold.
They're going straight for them now with the Stampede. They're ready to get back in onto them. Skinner gets him with the jump strike. Tell the Cookie gets Psycho up to the high ground. They'll be able to tear Psycho away back to safety. GPK pops the BKB. The ball lightning back up to the high ground. The cause survive. The 2 of them. It's just Miro that's out for 55.
He spent the gold for that refresher, and he gets caught on the front line of everything there.
We've got to look out for more players like this. Amar with the workhorse, with that car. He's ready to bail them out, and if that wasn't there, if he wasn't ready, Maureen was absolutely dead.
I mean, he tried for. I actually didn't even see in the last one. I'll be completely honest. I was wondering what happened with Maureen, why he was like ghost form in the bottom one. But yeah, it was that Aghanims this time. It does play it safe to be able to get the reset from the Doom. Roshan in 40 seconds. Doom will be respawning in time, and he will have. Okay, he won't have the double Doom.
Let's check this out again.
Ready.
And see how quick they are to jump. But Maureen, he knows that Amar's ready to back him up. I mean, indeed, without that there, he was absolutely dead.
Very quick reaction. Toronto Tokyo in a dangerous position right now here. Amar. Whoa, he found him. And
he's got the stun.
They got the two supports.
And there's nobody to get Toronto Tokyo out of this. Toronto Tokyo's gone. Saika's going to try and fight back. GPK's in with the zips. Let's get the ground. Get the ball. Takes onto the two of them. Jump forward as well from Miro. Then take a crit out. Buyback comes in. But Miro is safe. They're ready to continue chasing. Amar trying to drag Maureen out of the fight and will succeed. Gets them away from BB Team. Both teams dropping the buybacks here. Saving Toronto Tokyo for BB Team and Crit with the one from Falcon's side of things.
Oh, and this card is doing wonders. And it's got such a low cooldown. It's back up in 10 seconds. Every single time he can actually use this to bail Maureen out.
Someone's got to find Amar.
They really do. Maureen, he's got the BKB back up also. Level 25's been hit on the DK. Lots of buybacks used. These supports have to be careful. The arrow will scout.
Stone Gaze is up.
Saika in the front lines.
They're going to get the jump on him. Dragon Tail, little block forward, they need back at the Vortex comes in, but Saika's falling low. Can he get the snake out? The man has gone Saika.
He's in trouble.
He wants the BKB, tries to stand his ground, starts to attack back over towards Amar. The damage is
Saika's still alive.
He's surviving and forced out to the side. Turns towards Skinner.
He's still alive.
They're going to get four. It's snaking against the world, and he's not going to succeed.
Oh my goodness.
For Saika BB Team, they're turning the game around, folks.
He was out of mana so early in the fight, but he's able to stand the ground. They get the connection. The Stone Gaze connects. Oh my goodness, this game is delivering.
And into the Roche pit.
Aegis,
they're going to be
Aghanims.
So much money on Saika as well. He's still got a lot of options for what he wants to pick up next. But we'll see this. They absolutely felt here, Falcons, that they had him.
How did they not finish him?
Slow, but Saika, they couldn't quite do the damage beyond his mana pool. He keeps his distance, stands his ground as well, attacking back onto Amar. What a fight.
Unbelievable. Insane stuff. Just little maybe just butterfly evasion and stuff coming into play. Every little possible small thing keeping Saika alive. Falcons starting to feel a bit of that pressure after having a 30,000 gold lead.
I mean, there was always a sense that this could be coming, but BB Team, they've just never really done something like this before.
No, this is super impressive for Saika in particular. And also have to give a lot of credit to GPK. This man had 9 deaths in the game. Yep. He's got 10 now, but the pulls he's been able to get, the jumps, they've been crucial for this comeback.
It really feels like all the times in the past in which BB Team have tilted out of rough games, they've just been saving it up for today, folks, where it counts the most.
Now they've got Banner too. This Rax in jeopardy, and these long respawns. Doom's coming back up. Everything's coming back up for BBT. You couldn't bring down this Medusa once, and now versus Aegis, the gold lead has gone to 0.
Incredible stuff there. And yeah, Falcons. What would you imagine is the vibe from their side of things right now? Like, what are they saying? What are they doing? This is a completely new position for them to really be forced into.
They probably just felt like they were comfortable with the multi-scale because of how much Crit was farming, because of how much Snay was farming, because of everybody. But now I'm looking at the itemization. They're like, we need to get ways to prevent this Medusa from attacking or prevent something. See, Snay's queued up like a halberd, but these items maybe are coming after the fact that they needed them. These Dooms have been hitting. The Stone Gazes are connecting, and now it's a Swift Blink, so positioning for Saika, it's always going to be there. Feeling like this Medusa now has the advantage in the game, and the positioning overall, BBT, they've been able to get these beautiful jumps over and over again.
Saika's in.
Somehow hit level 25 throughout all this.
Gonna try with a jump. With this Aegis, I mean, we saw how much they struggled to take him down once in a team fight.
He's high-fiving him.
Gonna get the jump again.
It's a good link.
The static link. That should be the Aegis gone. But you've got to imagine this was part of the plan, because they just presented the Medusa up. Let's see what the backup is here from BB2. They get the jump. The stun is there immediately. Onto the two of them. They'll try and cook Saika around to the side.
Saika's going down.
The Rapier hits the deck. Falcons will defend, and they're ready to kill off more as they look towards save. Trying to hide with the glimmer, but they found him as well.
And that's a Rapier. Wait, they give it a snaking.
Oh, I mean, he's the one with the satanic. He's like, guys, I didn't farm the satanic for nothing. Give me the rapier.
Oh, man. It looks like they were putting him out there on a silver platter, but it seemed like they had an idea to play around it, but now Doom dead 70, Snap gone.
I was saying these incredible 20,000 gold swings in these fights.
After making such an unbelievable comeback throughout the majority of this game, it takes one mistake.
Oh, no. Maybe the BB team of old is still within them.
Falcons.
They were so close to turning this around, but it's just been completely redeemed there by that successful defense from Falcons.
And you can look at kind of how it all plays out is Saika has to swap the BKB in, right? Because the Aegis is getting reclaimed. He has to swap it in. It wasn't up, so he actually just gets hit by the first stun. Yeah, he's followed up from the chain stun, and they're able to connect absolutely everything, and he can't get anything off before they get all those spells onto him.
Well, here we go. Let's see if they can hold now without the rapier on the Medusa. Now things are going to get back to being very, very hard for BB team.
Especially because now even snaking with a rapier, his damage is also pretty absurd. And now these Raxes, the final set. 15 seconds, no Doom.
I mean, this genuinely could have been the plan all along for snaking. It's like, I'm just going to get satanic, they're going to get rapier, they're going to lose the rapier, and I'm going to take it for myself.
He wishes. Imagine having that much foresight. That'd be pretty impressive. Skitter. The final Rax, there's no glyph. You gotta go soon, BBT.
GPK a little slow with the jump there. They get the range Rax, the melee Rax, they're out. Same time that creeps out pushing in top, BB team. So Falcons will have to head back and deal with that one. The game will go on 52 minutes in now. BB team, can they get that sort of swing back again this game? It's going to require another rapier.
It's going to require another rapier, exactly what I was about to say.
I mean, Psycho should be able to farm that out pretty quickly. But it depends how much time Falcons give BB team in these moments.
What's he gonna sell? I mean, maybe you just sell something. Maybe sell your Manta or something just to be able to get it. I feel like he's gonna have to open up an inventory slot. Sure. But we'll see. Back up to the 30,000 gold lead very quickly, of course, as you were mentioning from that fight swing.
Look at that. It's as if the comeback never happened, really.
They did get They did get almost 2 full sets of Rax at least, so some momentum pushing out of the lanes slightly. But it's just this range Rax now left top for the side of Falcons. And Psycho, he needs the rapier. So sells the Manta.
Okay. That's pretty much
has it gone.
400 gold.
400 gold.
So there should be, there will be a second rapier thrown into the mix this game. There it is.
He has to get the BKBs off though. They have to still get he still needs all this defensive capability. If he gets caught from an initial stun, I still have massive concerns for this Medusa.
Yeah, they've proven that they've been able to burst through him.
Yeah. And also the team just needs to be closer. Let's be real here. That last fight, they put him out so far. They were, 2,000 range away?
It looked a bit rough. It looked like losing the Aegis was kind of like part of the plan, but then it seemed to play out like there was no plan at all.
Smoke up, Miro. Oh, Ninja Gear.
With the jump, they're going to drive the dude down. I mean, it's not a bad target. They get rid of Amar. They get rid of his workhorse car. There's no save.
I mean, if Snay has to be cautious with his positioning, too, on this Mirana, he is very important in this game. If he gives up a rapier, too, the game could just swing back and forth constantly. That's going to be their cruise. That's going to be the key target, though, they have to go for. I think the Doom just has to be thrown onto Amar in every single one of these situations. At least one of them. Otherwise, he's just going to stampede, Workhorse out one of the boys. So if they can keep playing around those visions, getting that type of Doom, then they still got a fighting chance with this Medusa.
Sure. And Toronto Tokyo's going to be able to enable a lot, like with this Axe, and now going for the AC.
True. He's actually starting to get some scaling. He's got the 20 talent. Gone are the days, though, of ET being able to just jump in a lot of the times and be able to do that constant briefcasing. But if he's able to get the AC and match, maybe there's that chance, too, for him.
Now, if you get the AC, and if you can get that rapier maybe from snaking, you never know. This ET could be going far.
Look at Maori and telling them, come high ground, because that was where the blunder definitely did happen before. Other thing to point out, Crit Wind Waker is finished up, so other ways to prevent Doom. So now you have to look for quite a few different targets to at least focus fire.
That's true.
Initiations are going to still be, it's kind of been the most important thing for the side of BBT throughout most of this game, but even more so than ever. Looking for this annoying Hoodwink, looking for this Centaur with one of the Dooms.
Well, I'd still imagine overall Amar's going to be the key target.
Yeah, absolutely.
You take him out of the fight, it's absolutely huge, because his saves have been crucial.
Yeah. And I'm wondering to see if maybe he does queue something like a Lincoln's himself. He does have the gold soon for it on Amar. He can consume that Aghanims and then go for it afterwards, so yeah, we'll see. There's still a lot of item growth that can come through at both sides in this game.
Smoke time from Falcons. They're ready to go again. Both teams very close to the point where one successful team fight could draw out the finale of this game.
How much buybacks are there? Or how many are there? It looks like Falcons has the majority. The 2 supports don't have it, but the 3 cores do. While on the side of BBT, they kind of have to go all in for most of them here. GPK can play around it, but the rest of them do have to spend their gold, it feels. And Roche, how long is it going to be? It's a fast one, 20 seconds.
And at this point, I'd imagine, has it fallen back to the point where BB Team probably don't want to fight around the pit? You know, sure, maybe take a fight outside of the base, but not actually in the pit? Or do you think now, back with another rapier on the Medusa, they could actually look to go fully aggressive?
It's total chaos at this point. I think you can any fight that you can take if you have vision is important for BBT. So if they can get vision down there, then perhaps, yeah, look for that fight. Miro has also hit 25, so the mute is online. It's a big power spike for them on top of everything.
Absolutely. Whoever he gets the Doom down onto, as long as Psyker's able to follow up, get his BKB off and get the hits in, they will kill. Unless, of course, the jump isn't made indeed onto the Centaur.
So we'll have to see if they do get the connections.
And as you say, the Wind Waker also another option for Falcons to counterplay the jump from BBT.
And yeah, I think you'd said it before, but Malrine does have Lincolns finally, so they do have at least one of the blocking. And they can purchase a couple more. I mean, they have like 7,000 gold on several different heroes.
Yeah, I'd say if anything, Malrine's probably got to look out to get that Lincoln's thrown onto Amar, if Amar's the one being targeted first.
He can do fancy stuff, right? Yeah. You can Lincolns, you can pop Refresher and block, or send another one and stuff like that. This Roche, it dies too fast, they can't contest. And difficult for them to come out there now at this point when Falcons has the vision too. 57 minutes, we could be approaching toward this 60-minute mark also.
And Legion, yeah, you can only imagine the potential there. Something like a Mirror Shield coming out for Psyker.
I mean, explosive damage can come into these Apexes and Stygians. They're nothing to laugh at this point in the game. Falcons, though, with this Aegis. See where they look to go.
Let's see. BB Team. The remainder of the smoke.
They have to just literally play around vision. If they see an occasion where they can get a multi-hero pull, that's where they kind of just have to take it. Even if they're playing into Aegis, I think they have to seize any opportunity they can get where they get multiple heroes inside this vortex from GPK. Even if it's risky, you don't want Falcons to just get free setup onto high ground pushes.
Falcons.
Tense moments.
They're on their way. Sending in the illusions first, seeing if they can get any information out. BB Team remaining completely hidden. Looking to fight underneath their ward setup here, BB Team. Falcons, they're careful about how they approach this. They know that BB Team is likely to be looking for this sort of play.
It's deep breaths from both sides here. It's patience.
They're getting the Vortex opening and straight away over Skeeter. They're going to look to burst through. The Dragon Knight have done so. He's out the once. Now they turn attention towards Amar, but Miro found the Doom target. Amar had to back off.
Malrine is just
He's trying to push on forward, but the Ice Spirit catches him. Malrine trying to heal up here with the Satanic. Is it going to be enough to keep it alive against the 5 of them? It looks pretty good. They can't quite bring Malrine down. They've got to start backing off. He's been caught by the block. Is there anyone to break him out of this? They're going to try and get him back up the high ground, but they can't.
He's down for 2.
The Bushwhack catches him. He's out for 2 minutes. No buyback available on Psyker. This could be it for Falcons. They're pushing on. That was the fight that they were looking for.
Another catch.
20 seconds until Psyker can buy back. It's on cooldown. He has the money. Can they last 20 more seconds? GPK trying to buy them time over the Vortex onto the 2 of them. But Marion and Skinner, they're looking to close it up. The fortification's there. 7 seconds until Psyker is back.
Can they push them off?
I mean, with these 2 rapiers now on Falcon's side, I think they push fast. Mirrors in with the Doom. GPK trying to thing, but Amar's in with the save. He's going to get Skeeter into the car.
The throne's dying.
They allow Skeeter to keep hitting the H and close the game out without any interruption. GG is called. Falcons, they'll do it 2-0, knocking BB Team out once again.
This was one of the better recoveries I've seen from BBT playing versus Falcons throughout this year, but it didn't matter. One mistake on that high ground push, Falcons capitalize. Oh man, a devastating game for BBT, but what a performance from Falcons with a very comfortable, stable draft. And Malrine at the end, he just ran through 5 heroes on this Razor with no fear.
He really did. You know, in this sort of game where things got as crazy as they did as the minutes passed and we got to that sort of 60-minute mark, yeah, Malrine showing no fear at any stage of the match, especially at that end point, knowing that he could go in and he could just survive against the 4 of them. He was super aware of what BB Team had already thrown down on the rest of his lineup. He knew he could get away with that sort of play.
Yeah, have to give some commend, of course, to BBT making this type of potential comeback. It was a 30,000 gold lead at some point. They swung it back to 0, but Falcons do find that one opportunity when it's just a split up Medusa that they're able to take that most important team fight.
Absolutely, yeah, one of the closest that BB Team's come, I feel, in the game against Falcons where they were so close.
So close.
So close to turning it, but then they got a little bit ahead of themselves with that push down mid, losing, cycle with the Aegis and quickly a second time, as you say, largely down to the key timing of Falcons getting that stun jump immediately on the respawn of the Aegis, leaving him no chance to BKB. Well, what a game. I hope we get many more of those today. This series, as we saw, Falcons, they take it 2-0, moving on in the competition and knocking BB Team out.
I am here with Crit. I mean, your first win in front of the home crowd. How does that feel?
It's very special. I didn't really know how I was going to react playing here the days leading up, like just being at my apartment and then going straight to TI. It's crazy.
I'm hearing a lot of support from the crowd, which must be nice, but how do you keep your head in the game during this match? Because it got pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're a very composed team. I think it helps. We have experienced players that are very good at it. The booth's also very soundproof, so that helps.
Yep, soundproof booths will certainly do the job for you. And of course, you talk about experience, but of course, you also have Malrine here as well. This is his first TI main stage. What was it like for him? He seemed so cool, calm, and composed coming into these lanes and just demolishing. Was that because you guys were helping him out, supporting him, or is he just a cool character?
I think Stas is just a person it's kind of up to him. I mean, we obviously try to help him as much as we can, but he's such like an energy bomb, and it's kind of just up to him on the day to just be there, and today he just decided to show up and be the best player in the world.
He certainly did. Absolute performance from him and all of you, to be honest. Congratulations. And of course, there's more work to be done. Who would you rather face in your next lower bracket game? Is it Cloud9 or is it Liquid?
Well, I don't really know Cloud9 players that well, and I'm good friends with Blitz, so I'd say I'd rather play Cloud9 so Liquid get top 3.
All right, Crit, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Copenhagen, give it up for your local legend, Crit. And we'll pass it back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Nomad, and congratulations to Crit and Team Falcons for moving forward and, of course, securing top 6 here at the International. We'll see how far they can go through this lower bracket. This game too, though, it looked spicy. This was exactly what everybody woke up here to come see, because it could have gone either way. Tiga, this was magic.
It was, and for BB, they're not, they've been here before. In regards to like last TI, 68,000 comeback, they made it. They also lost a 30,000 comeback. They was 30k down this time with the Rapers. Like, they were so close to doing it again. Like, for all-time TI history, BB holds the record for like number 1 and number 2 for winning and losing with comebacks. Like, this is their home ground. They're used to it. But yeah, unfortunately, they weren't able to overcome the Falcons kind of class.
But they put up a really good fight, though, towards the end, which was just great to see. It looked like at the start that they were going to go out with a whimper, but they went out with a bang, Shiver, and that's what TI is here for. But ultimately, this game, I think Falcons played an incredible game, but I want to talk about their identification of who the key target was in this game. We talked about the Medusa a lot on the draft, but Falcons identified that Storm Spirit was their central key in this game to get it moving, to give them an entry into that mid game, to allow them to skirmish. And what did they do? They shut him down entirely. Malrine on that Razor, with that last pick, not only did he counter him, first let him solo, but then they brought Crit to that lane. They camped the Storm Spirit. Malrine then goes bottom and wins that lane. And GTK, this is one of the most difficult early games I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, he's a player always known for kind of crushing his lanes, having this really early game advantage. So him going into the 6 minutes, 0-3-0 is just not really what you're expecting to see from the mid lane.
No, painful double-digit deaths, Gunnar. I want to talk about offlaners, Gunnar, because you already very early on pointed out that you loved the way Amar was building his Centaur.
Yeah, I thought his Axe purchase was really good. I think it's kind of underrated nowadays. It's been buffed so much, they're invulnerable, so they don't take any Doom damage. And it also gives them haste, so he can run away from a Doom. And you saw, I think, 2, 3, 4 fights. He basically just saves whoever gets gone. There was the one fight top that it was actually on cooldown, and that was the fight that pretty much swung the game and almost gave BB Team the win. But besides that, it honestly did so much work. And even here, you see the DK can't get stunned. They can't stop him. He's in the cart and can just hit the Ancient, and at some point they just win.
It felt like it was the best usage of Centaur Agonies I've ever seen. Every time I see a Centaur player pick up Ags, it's they have to use it one time to understand what the spell even does, because they don't know. Then they use it, but Amar, he knew exactly what he had to do the entire time, and yeah, a banging game and great itemization.
Yeah, and that Centaur cart, it's an 8-second duration, correct? 8-second duration, taking that off of Doom, if you can save some key targets, all of a sudden, you become the priority Doom target, which is what we saw in the last fight. Miero on his Doom had to Doom Centaur. And what happened after that? That was the first time we've seen Razor not doomed in a fight. Then Malvin runs in, Satanic, runs into 3 heroes, zones all of BB Team away from the Medusa, who was isolated on the side, killed by Skeeter's DK, and we finally saw the power of what Razor can do in fights when he's not carted away for 8 seconds.
Yeah, we really did. I will say, though, seeing BB Team exit here must hurt, as they came in with higher expectations than that. For some words from BB Team, we're heading over to Pyrion, who's talking to Saika.
Yeah, thanks, Sheebs. I'm here with Saika. Saika, first of all, we're all really sorry to see you guys go out of the tournament. You put together some really great performances. What went wrong in this series, just briefly?
I mean, I guess we were just worse. First game we had the kind of free lanes, and we couldn't really make move first, I guess. And the second game we just got crushed from lanes, from bot and mid, and the game was hard from that point.
But you guys were so close to pulling it back. It was a fantastic series. Did it feel a little unlucky to bump into your year-long enemies, Falcons, here in the lower bracket?
I mean, I guess you can call it unlucky, but anyway, if you want to win tournament or get to super far, you have to beat everyone. So that's just life.
So this season, I think we've seen some glimmers of real brilliance for you guys. What are you going to do to come back next year and turn it around and maybe even win a TI?
I mean, hard question. I guess we're just going to try to become better. Maybe some changes, not sure.
Okay, and last of all, I know you guys have a ton of fans. Is there anything you'd like to say to them for supporting you this year?
Yeah, it was a decent year. Thanks to all fans, especially CS fans, for supporting us. We could feel it. So yeah, we'll come back stronger.
Well, thank you, Saika. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Can we get a round of applause for BB Team and Saika? Thank you, and the tournament, of course, continues, and for more on that, back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Pyrion and Saika. As we say goodbye to BB Team, they've had a tremendous year. They came top 4 so frequently, Effie. To see them here out in top 8 is uncharacteristic for them.
It is, but they didn't look like they were in top form throughout this tournament, to be honest. That's why they started in lower bracket, but we heard from Saika, they could do some changes, it could be gameplay, it could be someone related to the team, but this team does have a lot of potential. Ultimately, I think they were their own worst enemies. That is always the case with BB Team. You can see them fold under pressure. You can see them be a bit too afraid to make any decisive plays or change up their drafts in an elimination game. And unfortunately, they're out, but they did have a great year.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years of an empty trophy cabinet for them, and with the interview as well, it's the first time I've actually heard a player go, there might be changes. Everyone else, when Noun's got eliminated, it's like, we're going to stick together and I can't wait for next year, there's that kind of, woo! So, yeah, we'll see what happens with the region, because, if one of the top teams hasn't really made it, then maybe we get some spicy shuffles, but yeah, that's a whole other story, and they had a good run.
Yeah, I think, Gunnar, if you look at a team and consistently indeed falling a little bit short, at some point, a team will have to make choices. I would imagine that from a team perspective, that's very difficult to already think about when you're already just eliminated,
especially this year, the next season is really packed.
Yeah.
There's qualifiers coming up within a week of this TI ending, so there will be moving parts, I think. So probably not immediately after you lose, you're going to think about it, but in the coming days, it's going to be something.
It is definitely going to be something. I think also something that BB Team will think about is this game that we just watched, because they were so close to forcing out a 3rd game to this series. They were so close if they were having that Medusa live just a little bit longer here and there, but it was Falcons that was able to pinpoint exactly how to get to that hero. Isn't that right, Purge?
That's right, Cheever. Yeah, it was a very close game towards the end. The teamfight moments were so close. I want to show you some examples of that comeback fight that BB Team had where they almost got back in the game. Now, right before this clip happened, the Mirana arrow was used, kind of scouting to look for this ward here. But what happens is Skeeter's going to use his Bloodthorn item here to increase the accuracy against Medusa, who's got a butterfly, but watch the stun duration. They need a follow-up stun. It can't be arrow. It's going to be the hoodwink stun, but watch this storm spirit zipping through. Just by chance, happens to cut the tree. That's going to interrupt the stun that's catching the Medusa, and as a result, she gets to use her Manta and her BKB. That basically starts panic mode for Falcons, because that's the person they're supposed to lock down. She gets her ulti off, she gets her BKB off, the Doom on the right targets happens, and that's why they're able to turn this fight. That stun being interrupted and removing the quick Bloodthorn completely changes the outcome of this fight. Look at how it was later when the game was even up and BB team is sieging the base. First stun, into second stun, into arrow, full stun duration while Aegis is coming up. He's going to swap his BKB from his backpack here into his inventory. It's going to come up just a little bit late, and watch for the frame perfect stun from Amar on the Centaur here. Catches the Medusa, she gets stunned again, follow up with another stun. This is the DK stun now. She takes 2 lives and doesn't get to be unstunned for a single second of it here. That is how you beat the Medusa. That was the plan for Falcons, but the fact that they messed up that previous fight almost gave BB team a chance to win this game. It was really, really close.
Thanks, Purge. 1 second, Gunner. 1 second, and we could have had a whole different story here.
Yeah, I think even the BKB, it was kind of a sketchy high ground. I would say they had to do something. I think they were feeling the pressure of the game, that it was getting to the point where they're stronger, but they need to keep pushing forward and getting more and more, because I think their draft definitely had a point where if the game goes like 60, 70 minutes, even with the Rapier on the Medusa and how strong she is, they're not going to just win for free. So they wanted to close it out, and it just wasn't enough that time.
Yeah, also, actually, the Doom on Mir, he ended up blinking in the second Centaur stun. So on Medusa's second life, the Doom couldn't cover for her because it was a very well-timed stomp or an unlucky timed blink by Doom. So it was just a matter of little things.
A matter of little things. That's sometimes all you need to get victorious here in the International. It is Team Falcons that move forward. We'll see them again tomorrow. For now, they'll get a little bit of a break, and that means we are also moving forward with our next lower bracket match. We are going to watch Aurora taking on Extreme Gaming, and before we get there, we are going to learn a little bit more about Extreme.
当时，比赛的气氛就是很高昂的，大家都很开心啊。打完雪碧就是大家都比较开心吧，因为大家都感觉这次可能状态不是特别好，然后能进场馆就还有继续往上冲的那种可能性吧。我觉得我们会就是一直进化，然后看能不能就尽量往上冲吧。对战雪碧之前，我们就做了很多准备吧。然后第一场的时候，我们在前20分钟基本上那个地图都是黑的，大家只能龟缩在那个野区等着对面来。然后后面在局势有一些好转的时候，可能我们太冲动了，在没有买活的情况下，然后冲高地被翻盘了。然后后面2把我们就调整了一下吧，然后就是在战术上选择的比较成功吧，就比较轻松的赢了，就这样。到目前为止，可能赢下 Spirit 算比较开心吧。就是对于对阵欧若拉，我们还是比较有信心的。他们欧若拉战队是一支比较偏防守反击，然后